Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Co-Optional Podcast. I'm back from the boat. And
you are back from the boat.
I am back from the boat.
Back from the boat.
Back from the
Banana boat.
I received an emergency message via carrier pigeon in the middle of the ocean, the Gulf of Mexico, that said, Krendor is fucking up your show. Come back immediately.
That's not true.
Obviously.
No, we had Best Podcast 2014.
I watched a bit of that. And it's like, you should be ashamed of yourselves.
Here's the thing.
Yes?
I think I got it back on the rails.
That was perfectly timed. That was lovely.
You might have frozen. Right
You
after
froze just after here's the thing. It was just beautiful. It was really nice.
I'm literally running nothing in the back. All right, I'm gonna shut down everything. Why am I freezing?
It's got nothing to do with what you're running in the background. Skype's just a piece of shit, and everyone knows it. It's just like,
I hate you, Skype.
it's like, oh, what are you? By the sound, yeah, I'm all scratched up. The people who noticed, yes, I shaved a little too fast before the podcast. Let me put it that way.
Should have said you got in a fight at the metal cruise.
Yeah, with a carrier pigeon. It was vicious little thing.
It just like pecked your face once. And was
It's like, what the fuck? Why would you do something like that? Oh, there's a message. Wonderful. But yeah, I cut myself shaving on both sides. It's almost symmetrical. It looks like I've got war paint on. But yeah, I may have cut myself twice while shaving this morning, which makes me a moron. Speaking of morons, Nick Murphy of the Continue Show.
Hey! I love it.
This is how we treat our guests 100% of the time.
Man, it's a true fact, so it's not a big deal.
Our special guest today is, of course, Nick Murphy of the Continue Show, one of 3 of the irregular guests. Why don't you introduce yourself to the audience today? Tell people what the Continue Show actually is and where they can find it.
Yeah, totally. First off, thanks for having me on. I'm super excited. Our show is called Continue. Basically what it is we play, it's a first impression kind of let's play hybrid review kind of thing. Mm-hmm. We play a game for 20, 30 minutes, and then at the end of that, we decide if we enjoyed it, continue, or didn't like it, game over. We also do a podcast called the Continue Cast. It's like a book club for video games. So we pick a game every month, then play it for a little bit, discuss, and then on the next podcast, we play a little further and discuss further. So those are my 2 things. That's what I do, baby.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
There you go.
Beautiful.
Don't apologize.
No, there's
The
no
show is
apologies on
awesome.
this show. Yeah.
I did not cut myself shaving today, so I got that going for me. So
That's true, yeah. You also have better lighting than me. Admittedly, that doesn't take much. This fucking room.
Thanks.
I need to sort that out, but never mind.
You gotta switch over to daylight, man. You gotta get rid of the tungsten, the incandescent, and then
That's
switch over to like
daylight.
daylight.
All right, yeah. My
It's
tiny window. Okay, I've put a bit more daylight in here. It looks a little less shitty until the sun goes down in a few hours, at which point yeah. It'll just be lovely.
Man, I just came on and I was just like, hey, here's how you can fix your lighting, man. I know you've been doing this thing for a while, but
Oh, no. I know how bad the lighting is. At my old place, I used to have like a 3-point light setup, and it looked okay. This place, well, it's got angular ceilings and a kind of desk that's built into the wall, which makes the lighting system impossible. So I've got to buy a bunch of micro LED spots and put them around the place. So that's going to be
like my
fun.
dream. I want that so bad, to just like have little LED blocks just all over the place and just be like, switch on.
Yeah, I'll have to rig it in some way so I could say switch on in a sassy fashion and have that. Or we could just go Demolition Man style.
No, you say illuminate.
Illuminate.
That's
Deluminate. And that's the first Demolition Man reference of the show. Only 8 minutes in. That's got to be a record. Well done.
Pretty good.
Install a skylight. Yeah, cut a fucking hole in the roof. That sounds really smart, guys. Thanks, chat. It's a good job I have you to help me.
Don't worry.
Welcome to the Co-Optional
Jesse and I'll
Podcast.
do it for you.
Yeah.
This.
If it's anything like how you handled last week's podcast, I would expect that not to go so well. There'll be like just a literal train is stuck into my roof, right? It's on fire. There's people screaming and dying everywhere. It's like, well, that's Jesse and Dodge's attempted installing a skylight. Well done.
For those cold Carolina winters, it's a heat source.
It is. It does get pretty cold around here. The weird thing is that it's all over the place, temperature-wise. Like yesterday, absolutely lovely 75, nothing wrong with that. And then today, rain, 28 degrees, enjoy freezing. Like, what the fuck? Why would you? Yeah. It's all over.
You know, in LA, it's been the same temperature roughly the last
All
23 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
It really
So I've
hasn't
been
changed
told.
much.
Yeah,
You guys are so lucky. You don't have to deal with like So I'm from Philadelphia, and we have like crazy weather right now. Like so much snow. It's every other day is snowing. It's crazy. And I know there's people in Canada and far north that deal with it all the time, but we don't deal with that like ever. Like if LA is 72 all the time, we're like 60, 58 like all the time. We're not built for this.
Yeah, I feel like that's what Oregon was like. I grew up in Oregon, and it was that way too. It was just like always about the 60s, pretty much all year, raining, no snow.
Yeah. Yeah, we went to
I'm in a really boring place where it's just like, I don't know.
Same thing every time.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's the fucking worst, Dodger. Get out of here.
When the sun's too bright, I get so irritable. I'm just like, get out of here. I hate it.
When the sun is too bright.
There's so much sun on my skin, it makes me warm. I hate it.
Yeah.
Worst.
If anybody wants to trade with me.
I was considering it, and then I realized I'd have to live in LA. So I'm like, no, I don't want to do that in any way. Fuck that.
You want to live right in the middle of Hollywood? TV, I got you.
That sounds like a wonderful idea. I'll happily give up all of the wonderful space and green and fantastic housing that I have here to live in a fucking one-bedroom apartment in the middle of Hollywood and pursue my
That's what I thought.
film career.
That's how you would feel.
Yeah.
Pursue my film career.
Yeah, absolutely.
Going to be an actor.
Yeah. I gotta be a pretty good supervillain, I feel. I could work fairly well.
Craft, you.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I was waiting for the rest of the sentence and it just never came. I guess I have plenty of practice in my acting career. I've pretended to like you for the last 3 years, so it seems to be going fairly well.
You're very good.
I am pretty good and rather convincing, I gotta say. Welcome to the ContinueShow podcast. We occasionally talk about video games. Jesse, welcome to the show.
Hello, everybody. How's it going?
Great.
That's it.
Did you cut yourself shaving today?
I'm gonna be good. No jokes, Jesse. And simply say no, I did not. I did not cut myself shaving today.
Okay.
And I mean, do you want us to talk about games now? Is that what we're doing, or are we just introducing ourselves? Because look, I don't know what happens anymore. Last
Do you have
week,
anecdotes? Jokes. Where are your jokes, Jesse? God, you're off your game so bad today.
Look, I'm worn out. I went to an event last night that I can't really talk about, and I'm totally just done. I'm just done. It was too much. All these damn kids, they're all like 22, and they're so excited about video games. And I'm like,
was it in San Diego by any chance?
No, that was Friday. Friday,
okay.
San Diego, we can talk about. I went to the EverQuest Landmark event.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of fun. Played the game, went around the office, harassed Margaret, and did that whole business. And it was a blast. And I jumped on the live stream, and they asked me to tell them about what I liked about EverQuest. And I told them the greatest story ever that I will always tell about my friend Michael Christ. Michael Christ, I know you're out there somewhere. In high school, when we were seniors in high school, he threw a party because his parents were out of town. And it was, invite everyone. We're all seniors and we're going to get just wasted at his house. And don't do that, kids. Don't do that. And so he throws his party and he vanishes. And so everyone else is like, yeah, he's off with some girl. This is awesome. And I'm like, nope, I don't believe it for a minute. And so I went to go look for him. I was like, where the hell did you go? I walk into his bedroom. I'm like, what are you doing? And he's sitting there playing EverQuest. I'm like, you threw this party and you're up. He's like, priorities, dude. I'm like,
I can respect that guy.
So that was the first time I ever saw EverQuest. I was like, oh my god. And ever since then, I've been an MMO nerd. So thanks, Mike. But that was fun. That was a cool event. It's sort of like the year of EverQuest is I think what they're trying to do because it's the 15th anniversary. I think.
Something along those lines.
Something anniversary. 40th anniversary.
Longer than that.
EverQuest has been around for like 100 years. It was old when this world was young. It's been around forever. And so that was a lot of fun. Got to meet a lot of people out there who were just going crazy. I had a girl, basically every cosplayer feed me grapes, and then we shot a video of it. So look for that.
Right? Yes.
Jesse's misogyny series.
I went up to them and I was like, they're like, do you want to interview me? I was like, can you feed me grapes while I wear this king crown? And so I just laid on the couch and there's just people feeding me grapes. And then I went on a tour, and one of the bits throughout the entire tour, someone would just feed. I was like, oh, what's in here? And then a grape would just appear in front of my face and I eat it. I was like, now this is a video. And then it was a blast. It was nice to see. I saw their very first server they ever used. It wasn't for EverQuest, it was for another game, but it's like the first Sony online entertainment server. And it was from 1986, 89.
Whoa.
Cost $225,000 and had a whopping 512 megabytes of RAM.
Oh my god!
What a machine!
Mind blowing. It was like
That's
this,
amazing.
it was like a size of a hallway. It was huge, and I was like, this says a lot about that's a ridiculous. That's less than 30 years time, and it was like 512, man, $225,000. I was like, now that is worth the price of like the gold or brass or whatever metals in there. Other than that, it's useless. Like, that's garbage.
Yeah, pretty much. I thought I owned an old server when I bought the server that I used to play WoW on. I bought the Mazrigo server, and that's sitting. They did a charity auction for Blizzard a while ago, so that's sitting in my house in the UK. And that was a fairly ancient-looking thing. It was obviously a rack mount, but Jesus, something that size. It's insane.
One of my, at the last BlizzCon, one of my friends, he had his server Blade that he bought from the server he played on, and he spent all BlizzCon hunting and tracking down every single developer. And it was funny because at one point, the Hilton bar that's, after the con, he's standing at the doorway. He's like, I saw them all come in. They have to leave at some point. And he's just waiting. I was like, this is like stalkery. And the next day I saw him, he's like, I got them all, dude. I got them all. And I was like, that is a dedication I could not have. I'd be like, I can't do this. People are having fun. I'm not going to just stand here with a giant server and wait. So
Yeah.
last night was an event, a special event that we can't talk about till March. So that's a thing, but it was nonsense. Just young, hip, cool kids, and then a few of us old folks who were like, is it 9:30 yet? What are we doing up? And it was,
man.
oh my god.
I don't even bother showing up to those events anymore. It's like, you can't talk about it till March. Then I can't be fucked. I will talk about it in March when everyone else who wasted their time spending several days going to this stupid thing that you can't make content of for over a month, when they talk about it, I'll then recycle their content and get more views that way.
TV, getting it
Pretty
done.
much. Stealing it. It's a waste of time. It really is. Like, I've said it many times before. Like, turning up to... I'm not going to criticize people who turn up to those events, particularly because maybe they just don't know any better. But you should know better, Jesse. You're older than me.
No, I live in LA, and it was in LA. So
all right, well, that's fine. But like, this is the kind of event that we get, like, oh, would you want to fly across the country to go to this event that you can't talk about for a month, and we won't even compensate you for your hotel or whatever? It's like, no, I fucking don't. That's a waste of my time.
There was a lot of Angry Joe and some guys were there, and so I was like, what are you guys doing tonight? And they're like, oh, we got to leave at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. I was like, damn, you literally are here just for this. I felt really, really bad for one guy who, I don't know his channel, and I wish I'd give him a shout out because he gets all the awards for just putting up the stuff. Apparently he's from New Zealand, and this is like...
What the fuck? He flew from New Zealand. And
so I guess he's going to stay here in LA for a week. I was like, that's a smart thing to do. I was like, because going here for one day is insane. But
been there, done that.
It's nice to see the big community that's already built up around a game that doesn't exist yet. I was like, holy crap, you guys are like way into this. Like, all right, that's awesome. I'm gonna get some more to drink.
It's like gold prospecting, It's the new age gold prospecting. Whenever a new game comes out or is coming out, there are people that are looking to be the big guy in that game. Because think about like Hearthstone, for instance. Who struck gold in Hearthstone? Well, not Nick Murphy. But
I beg to differ. Since we played our game, man, I am a force to be reckoned with.
Oh, really?
No, that's not true. Not at all. You guys don't even know. So me and TV played, and I was like, I'll play this game. I've been playing for a little bit. It'll be a fun little time. And then TV comes in, like a gentleman, though, destroys me. But he was gentlemanly. He was kind. He was very nice. It was a good game. We shook hands and left as friends.
Yes.
That's like a good night.
That's exactly how it went
me
down.
Like a gentleman. Put me on a shirt. I want to be destroyed like a gentleman.
Don't worry, I'm gonna
buy
go
a gentleman.
I'm trying to figure out which part of the innuendo that is. It's a little confusing.
There is a lot of innuendo there.
Evidently,
just a lot.
Yeah. But I mean, if you think about it, like,
does it from both sides. From the receiving and the giving end.
Uh-huh.
Let's just put it that way.
All right. Okay, we're getting into some interesting territory here. I think we need to use protection. But anyway, anyway, yeah, the point is that if you think about a game like Hearthstone, like who struck gold with that? Kripparrian, Trump, Harfu, to some like lesser degree, Kungan, Rekful, people like that. And every time a new game sort of comes along, there are people who are already planning well in advance to strike gold with that. There are already people who are planning to be the big thing in Hero of the Storm, yeah? Heroes of the Storm.
But I think this is where you're going with it. Sorry to interrupt. I assume that you will point out the fact that it's also like, mining for gold. You can also strike out completely.
Yeah, you absolutely can, because a lot of these guys didn't plan to be like successful in Hearthstone. If you look at Trump was actually a Terran streamer for StarCraft 2, and he was never very popular. Like, he was good, but he was never very popular at all. And then he started playing Hearthstone, and he just exploded, Crip kind of had a basis already, because he struck gold with, like, Diablo 3 and also Path of Exile before. So he kind of had a basis to go into this, but Trump didn't. But he struck gold on it. And then there's so many people that tried to go for it and didn't, so... I don't know. I think it is a general attitude now, particularly with streaming being so easy, that people are actively looking to corner the market on the next big thing.
And that's what I talked to a lot of guys who I really, I mean, I didn't know a lot of people. They're the big faces. Like you see a Cnanners and a Toby Turner, you're like, oh, okay, I hey guys, how's it going? But there's a lot of people I had no clue who they were, and 90% of them are streamers, not YouTubers. And so it was like, oh, hello. And seeing like how they work versus how we work and things, yeah. It was really cool. But yeah, you're right. They're all like, when this game launches, man, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there day one. I'm gonna have it all, because it's all, everyone's on the same level and everyone gets a fair chance. Like this is, and I'm like, that's cute. You think that? It's cute.
No, they don't.
It's cute. You think that?
Sorry.
Like it feels to me a lot like when people say, oh, this game is going to be my game of the year, and they haven't played it yet. Oh. It feels within that same world of just saying like, all right, this game isn't out yet, but I'm going to be fucking amazing at it and get all the views. And I'm like, stop. Because you just don't know. Like,
yeah. It's for the most part
so silly to throw all of your eggs in a basket and you don't know how big the basket is or what the basket looks like.
I've said, if people ask for advice from time to time, and I've said this time and again, never, ever, 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 ever attach your success to one game. Because if you do that and that game takes a turn for the worst, so do you. Why would you? You're already kind of putting your career and your business in the hands of another company, that being Google, or if you're a streamer in the case of Twitch. Yep. Why would you double up on that and say, not only am I reliant on Google not to fuck up, but I'm also reliant on, say, Blizzard not to fuck up, because I've attached myself so closely to this one game. And that's what I very quickly realized, and Jesse, you realized the same thing, as we were coming out towards the end of Cataclysm Beta. We were like, this gravy train is about to go off the fucking rails. We need to transition quickly, and we need to do it well. And there's plenty of people that tried that transition or just didn't, and who fell flat. Big WoW streamers, big WoW YouTubers that are just nobody anymore.
And you see that with a lot of, like now, because I said this way back when, is the Minecraft gravy train, so to speak. Eventually that's going to run out. You can see big Minecraft people.
It's already running
branching off into other. Yeah, you can see them branching off into other things. I'll be honest. After playing EQ Next Landmark, I think that's gonna just destroy Minecraft.
I want to play it so bad.
I've
really
the alpha.
Good.
I'm pretty sure I have a spare alpha somewhere, Dodger. I can get it up for you, but
it's potentially gonna it's gonna be on. Look, that's gonna be the next big YouTube thing. Like if you're a guy who's like, I need to make some big money on the YouTubes, that's pretty much how you're gonna do it. I'm convinced of it because it feels like Minecraft. It looks better. And you can do more with, like, they give you voxel tools without having to have, like, a mod to voxel things. And yes. I'm telling you, like, the kids, they'll love it. Me, I'll be like, I need someone to build for me. I can't do this.
Yeah, hey, can you guys build me some cool stuff? I'm going to kill monsters.
I should point out, by the way, the alpha right now is very bare bones. So if you like hitting things with a pick, like, fuck, we've got the alpha for you. But it's like it's like the Minecraft alpha. It's really, 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 really basic. It's like the creative mode in Minecraft, because there's no monsters yet. They don't even have water yet. That's not a thing. The place where the lakes are supposed to be is empty. Because I imagine, since this is not this is not a block game. This is a full voxel game. You got to simulate the water in a really big way. So that's going to be a big deal. It's going to take a lot of effort. You should be able to redirect the water, actually be able to fucking dig out your own channels and shit like that. But it's an interesting proof of concept because you go into what is quite a gorgeous looking world, honestly, and a really nice engine, and then you just start wrecking it with a pickaxe.
Destroying it.
Yeah. And the way that it does it's not simple at all. The way that you knock out a block in Minecraft is very simple. Yeah, the block has two, it's basically got two states, right? Block and no block. Yeah, and that's how the whole world is built. Here, the world is built in a logical way. So when you dig a hole, it digs a hole that looks different to every other hole. And you're kind of digging down like that. And it's fully 3D and properly realized in that respect. And that's very interesting. And it's actually, the way that they've done the mining is quite satisfying. Minerals kind of pop out in little bits and you kind of collect them. And you get rare minerals and there's a little puff of smoke every time a rare mineral comes out and stuff like that. And trees literally explode when you've mined them out fully, which is pretty hilarious. But what impressed me greatly about it is that I went to someone's really basic shelter. Yeah, really basic shelter. And he was talking to me about it and said, yeah, this took ages. It takes a lot of resources to build something like this. But even though it was completely basic, it looked fucking gorgeous. I'm like, wow, right. With a bit of craftsmanship, how cool could this look? Because you got high texture quality, you've got a lot of tools which let you really shape it. If I went into my creativity panel or whatever, and I looked at what I could do with wood, and there were like 16 different wood grains in there. That you could all make with the same kind of wood. So it's like, and then there's a smoothing tool and a roughening tool, and you can round things. Like, whoa, there's a lot of potential here.
You can make a really boss-ass basement, with all the wood textures. It'd be awesome,
Absolutely.
It'd be super good.
One of the things I think is really cool, and this is, I was trying to find you guys a picture of it. It pissed me off that I can't. It's one of the EQ Next developers. In a day, he's like, I'm gonna start the same day you guys start, and I'm gonna build something with the exact same things that you would start with if you started. By the end of the day, he had claimed a mountain, built a castle on top of the mountain, and then took like screenshots of it. And he's like, it's not done, but you can see like the ramparts and the walls go up. It looks gorgeous, like in every direction, because you can smooth it, you can have curves, you can make it like flow with the way the mountain moves. And so it looks like it's an extension of what I was like, this is great. And because the way the claiming works, you have only a certain area that you can claim. So you can claim below the land, you can claim above you don't get like from like all the way down to the bottom of like infinity all the way up to the sky. You only get a certain spot. So if you get other flags to claim, you can claim underneath or around or connect to what you have already, but you need to pick where you're going. So you can either claim like just the soil and then the sky and build like a giant tower, or you can build like a cavern, or you can do all sorts of things. And this guy built up into the sky and then into the mountain. So who knows what's going on in the mountain that he made? Like, it's really cool. And I was like, this guy's got it figured out.
Awesome.
And so the potential for great things to be built is just there's exponential. There's so much there. And the water, I guess, one of the guys that I was talking to at the event was like, dude, I want to build a pirate ship. I'm going to claim water and build a pirate ship and put it on the water. I was like, you can do that if you want. I didn't even think about that.
That's awesome.
I guess there are other worlds that are going to exist too. So right now I think there's it's like tropical / desert.
There's a few biomes, yeah. They're saying they're putting a lot more into this thing eventually.
There's going to be a sci-fi one. There's going to be all sorts of different things. So like you can build spaceships if you want. I was like, oh, fancy.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And the weird thing about it is that they're making it its own game, but it creates content that can then be sold via the Player Studio in EverQuest Next, the actual MMO. So this is something that I actually understand getting on the ground floor of. Most of the time, like, why the fuck would you buy in early? You're an idiot if you do that, because you're just buying a absolutely pointless alpha instead of waiting to see if it's going to be any good. In this case, though, if you're very creative, I can kind of see why you would, because getting to grips with the tools and understanding how it works could be very important, because you could be one of those guys, like the original folks that were making TF2 models that have made 6 figures from Valve. You could be that person.
I was just about to mention the TF2 guys that are just like, make a year's worth of money just making TF2 stuff. And it's just like,
when I was on the tour, we met with the guy who's in charge of all the props and things you can buy and sell in the store. And one of the people in my tour group was literally like, she had an iPad full of questions. And one of the questions, it was great. She did all the work for me. One of the questions she had was, everyone keeps talking about the store. What is the most money someone has made on the store in one pay period? And I guess the pay period's 3 months. And so he literally is like, oh, well, we have the checks right here. They're about to go out. And he's like, hold on. And he goes over and looks at them. He goes, $9,360. So that's in 3 months. That's not bad. That's not bad.
That ain't bad.
So-
Yeah.
Not bad for making something. And the cool thing about, this is what they told me, because I actually saw EverQuest Next like 2 years ago, quite literally. This was pre-alpha, pre-production kind of stuff. And they were saying, right, the way that we're going to do it is we're going to have the studio set up so that you could make an entire castle, or you could just make a tiny part of a castle, and someone can use the part of the castle that you made in their castle, and they can like kind of sell it as a package further up, but you get royalties based on how much of that design is actually yours. So it seems like there would be almost a business of selling small, really cool little things that are popular and incorporated in other larger designs. And it's really strange to think about it as a business, but some of these creative games are getting that way, and you can do this kind of stuff with Team Fortress 2, you can do it with Dota 2, but in this case, what they're making is a cooperative building game where the stuff that you build afterwards can actually then be sold, which is a shitload easier. And to me, that opens up the possibility of a lot of people who are very creative but completely untalented, when it comes to artistic stuff, actually putting together some interesting things. So who knows, I mean, again, right now, it's kind of pointless to play the alpha because there's not really a lot going for it unless you really want to mine a lot of stuff. But yeah, I mean, the tech that's on display is very impressive. More impressive than anything else that's tried to ape Minecraft up to this point, I've got to say.
Yeah, the potential to be the next big YouTube thing is there. Like you can see
totally.
it's written all over it. Like,
Yeah.
So jump on that if you're gonna jump on something.
Yeah.
Excuse me, guys. I have to go. Something came up. I have to go take care of this thing right now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. I like how I left, like, off screen, there's a magic computer thing that's going to make me... I don't know why I did that, but I thought it was funny. I thought
It's
it was
like,
funny.
that's where my EverQuest computer is. I have a specific computer set up
right
just for this.
here.
Oh my gosh, when me and my cousins were like really into EverQuest, like original EverQuest, she had a label maker and she had made labels to put on all of the computers and just had EverQuest machine on all of her monitors. And I was like, God, this is who we
My
are.
wife used to play EverQuest like back in the day, and
God, so fun.
we were trying to get her to play WoW. We were playing WoW for a little bit, and I was like, "Oh yeah, WoW's cool. You should come play." And she's like, "Nah, you can't color armor or whatever." She's like, "Fuck it." I was like, "Oh man, like you're gonna fucking dismiss this whole thing just because of that?" But she was like super into EverQuest, like super, like therapy. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. We had like binders of all of the maps. We had just like way
Isn't
too
that messed
much.
up? That's what you needed. Like EverQuest was that was a game you had to be into. Like
Yeah.
I couldn't even.
A lot of
handle that. You had
dedication
to be
required.
like-
I mean, we're talking like 100-person raids that would go on for like fucking an entire day. That's
Yeah.
the kind of thing you're talking about there.
14 hours. 14 hours was one of the boss fights. 14 hours. That's insane.
Yes.
But that's what you needed. Like if you wanted that staff, you're gonna play. Like
Yeah.
that's what it used to be. You guys, all you young kids, you have it easy. Back in my day,
it's not
I
wrong.
think it's gonna turn into the old cast. I like this. I'm down for this, guys. Let's just wrap it up in an hour and we'll be solid.
Yeah, we're
Cool,
grilling
all
some
right.
prunes. It'll be wonderful.
we got to get to dinner by 3. So
All right. Nick, what have you been playing this week? What's been going on?
I haven't really had a chance to dive into anything new, but for our podcast, it's called the Continue Cast. We do like retro games. We've kind of taken a weird, different turn where we're kind of playing retro-inspired games. So,
Okay.
We played like Fez for a little bit. Now, the past 2 games we've been playing is Papers, Please, which I'm really into right now. It's it's like affecting me in a weird way. Like video games don't really have that effect on me. Like I'm not the kind of person who's gonna like cry or get upset. Like for me, the game is like the escape, and it's just like a competition, and that's it. But Papers, Please, man, it fucked me up, man. Like I was just like, oh my god, my son is dying. I need to do better at detaining people, and that moral decision alone is like, I don't know what to do. So I'm having a real good time playing that game right now. And then, go ahead, sorry.
It's very interesting how that game can present you with very ambiguous moral choices, and more often than not, the choices don't necessarily have in-game effects, but you still feel fucking bad anyway.
Yeah.
I like one of the guys who's on the podcast with us. He's like, well, I'm just messing with everybody. I was like, yeah, but that's like such a dick move, man. Like I know games are fake and it's a virtual thing, but like I don't want to be a dick nobody, man. I just want to be a nice guy, you know?
I know. That was me playing Papers, Please, and it definitely gets to a point where you're like, oh, I don't want to detain you, but I need money. I don't know what to do. And like, I had a couple of friends who were playing it at the exact same time that I was, and they were like, oh yeah, detain everybody. Just like
I think that's the difference. After the first terrorist attack, I was like, F it. Everyone's I don't even care where you're from. I'm throwing you in jail.
And
like, that tell a lot about people.
Is the fucking message right there. And that's why it's such an effective game for getting across an interesting political point. And it's one of the best examples of a game to actually do it, because they're not ham-fisted with it, and they show how genuinely grey that particular area is, because you see it from the perspective of kind of someone that most people dislike, you know, like a TSA agent or anything like that. You know, we all kind of dislike the TSA. Although I'll tell you this, having gone through the security for a fucking boat, oh, you will love the TSA after doing that. Like 7 fucking checkpoints to get on that thing. Holy shit.
God.
Anyway, you know,
because it was metal though. They only had so many metal detectors. All the studs and like
how hard are you?
Basically,
really?
we went within 50 yards of the metal detector and everything was overloaded. It's like, yes, we detect metal. It was that fucking good. But yeah, I mean, as a game, actually communicating that point through gameplay, really effective. Super effective. Like, way more effective than anything like, say, Dear Esther or Gone Home has ever been. Because it does it through the gameplay. And it's one of those rare games that manages to do that. You know, Brothers is the same, and there's a couple of other titles that manage to pull that off. So yeah, Papers, Please is just brilliant.
Yeah, man, I'm having a really good time playing it. A really good time and a really bad time at the same time. It's just like playing it with. There's 4 of us on the podcast, so playing it with them, you know, these are guys I've known for years and years. But I'm getting a really good sense of who these people really are, and I'm starting to question our friendship because of it. I'm starting to reevaluate. Like, all right, man, I kind of thought you were, you know, chaotic good, but now I'm starting to see you are chaotic evil, real bad, man. But that's fun. And then, so this week we're playing The Binding of Isaac, which is a game I missed out on, but I'm having a really great time playing. It's so much fun.
Okay.
It's really well done. Like it opens up and you get the story, and I'm like, oh, cool, this sounds really interesting. And then the story kind of goes away, and it's just gameplay. But then the story elements are in there, and you kind of have to look kind of below the surface, which is I'm finding really interesting in this game. I'm having a blast playing these 2 games back to back.
Oh, man. I love the way that if you search for The Binding of Isaac on YouTube, the first thing it shows is not a video, but Northern Lions channel. It's just like, yeah, that sounds about right. He just released episode 705 of his Binding Isaac.
Hasn't he been playing that game for like
years?
Ever?
Literally years. Yeah. He has done everything there is to do in that game. He does not stop. He is still playing Binding of Isaac.
It's so fun. It's one of those games where just like if I have nothing to do, I'll just play it because it's so mindless now at this point.
Yeah, I was watching the Super Bowl for, you know, commercials, you know, and I was just like, the game was like
Americans.
I was like, let me just play Binding of Isaac. I mean,
Nick,
I don't watch football.
It's okay if you like sports, Nick. We won't judge you. It's okay.
I really don't. I was just watching it for the commercials and stuff, but like, I was like, this game fucking sucks. But like, okay, so it might have been, I don't really like sports, but like, especially football. But so it snowed in Philadelphia like a month ago. And it was on a Sunday when the Eagles were playing some other team, I don't remember. But it was snowing on the field, and it was like the coolest thing ever. Like I saw like a clip of it, and I was like, I got to watch this thing right now. And I got really into football for like an hour or 2.
A day?
A day, right? And then that's it. And then forgot about it until the Super Bowl. But no, man, Binding of Isaac is awesome. I'm really digging it.
It's
like with EVE Online. Nobody cares about EVE until cool things happen in EVE.
That's
and then
very
everybody
true.
Cares.
Recently, everything exploded.
EVE Online is like, it's like racing. It's like NASCAR. EVE Online is the NASCAR of the MMO world.
In the sense that nobody watches it until the crash.
Over and over again, and then eventually things explode.
Yeah,
dude, that's true.
Does sound about right. Yeah, recently, for those of you who don't know, there was a massive fight, the biggest fight in history in the 11 years that game has been up, all over an unpaid bill, essentially. Yeah, that was a thing. Yeah, I love reading about EVE, and I have no interest at all in going back and playing it.
Yeah.
I still have my heavy assault cruiser somewhere in a station in the middle of nullsec, and I have no intention of ever taking it out again.
It's interesting to see, like, for all that EVE is in its spreadsheet glory, it's interesting to see the political, like the way politics works in that game, because you see people who a year ago were like battling with each other now are allies against another group, and it's really interesting to see how things change in that game. And it's like I could not, the time and energy spent, if my ship got destroyed, I'd be like, I'm done. I'm done with this. I can't do this anymore.
Like,
I lost a ship actually in Eve, and it was I had equipped that thing up. I bought gold in that game in a big way, not illegally. I used the legitimate way. I bought like the whatever they're called, the player passes or whatever, and then sold them in game, which you're allowed to do. And I bought this battle cruiser, and I'd equipped it with some really nice shit, and I got killed in a gate camp with that. And it's like, well, let me think, how much did that cost me? Yeah, I think I just lost $20. Like, oh, okay, that's there's a certain level of tension that is brought into the game when you start to actually attach money to the actual ships.
Just the time. I think they said by the end of the battle, it was like something like $60,000. Something crazy was
more
lost.
than that, apparently.
Some insane amount of money was just gone. I was like, that is insane.
No, it's between 300 and 500,000.
What?
Yeah. Because
because
many Titans were blown up. And
yeah, like one alliance
like,
lost like 56 Titans. Like, I remember back when I was playing, the idea of there being a Titan in any sector was rare enough. These guys lost 56 fucking Titans. Like, what?
Yeah, and Titans are worth between $3,000 and $5,000, like real money.
In theory, yeah.
And and like 100 or maybe a little over 100 of them were just like gone.
For those of you wondering how, by the way, we're saying it's worth this amount of money, it basically comes down to the fact that there is a way to actually kind of buy gold in game, which is to buy, I can't remember the name of it, but it's like it's a Plex, that's it, Plex, Pilot's License Extension, which means that what you can do is you can pay for your subscription in-game with in-game ISK, right, in-game money. But the way that these Plexes are created is that someone buys a Plex in real life, like they buy a game card and they convert it into a Plex. And they then sell it for in-game money. So you can basically buy gold. So using that exchange rate, that's how people figure out that a Titan is worth as much as it is.
Yeah. Can't you also build a ship and then sell it in-game, like legally, too?
For money or not for real money? No.
Or no.
You can't do it because you kind of can't transfer it back legally, because if they did that, they'd become a bank, and then they'd be regulated like a bank. So that's why they can't do anything like that.
That's true. And one of the best things about Eve is that they just let people do whatever. They're just like, oh, you guys want to kill each other? Go for it. We'll maintain the game, but you guys just blow stuff up. We don't care.
Yeah, they're actually really laissez-faire with how they let their game evolve based on what the players do, which I actually have a great deal of respect for. I fucking hate playing the game. It's boring as shit. But I love hearing about it, and I really respect what they did with that game and how they actually developed it. I mean, for God's sake, it's been around for 11 years. If you think about the way that WoW went, and it's like, WoW is like more and more kind of restricted and less player choice. And Eve went the entire other direction. And it's like, you know what? We trust you to figure shit out on your own. Go. And people did. And it was compelling enough to stick around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then lose $300,000. Around long enough to lose all my money.
Oh my god!
I heard stories, man, especially in Russia with the Russian alliances, where someone figured out where a Titan pilot lived and literally went to his street and cut the power lines while it was online so they could gank the Titan. Like, that's how extreme some of this shit gets.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
that's intense. That's too far.
Yeah,
holy
shit.
It's
pretty metal.
That's
pretty metal.
That is fucking metal. I'll give him that. Holy fuck.
Jesus. Oh my goodness.
Can I talk about the metal cruise? I guess I'm gonna have to eventually.
Talk about the metal cruise.
Yeah,
that was interesting.
Yeah, dude, I want to hear about this.
How metal was it?
It was pretty fucking metal. In fact, most of the things involved with it were metal in some way, including the boat. So.
Was the buffet metal?
The buffet was extremely metal. The boat looked like a large hunk of metal, as it turns out. And it had a giant stage on the top of it that said 70,000 tons of metal. The best thing is, on the first night, I'm almost convinced that they deliberately chased down this other cruise ship that was full of old people and got quite close. And then fucking Fintroll was the first band on the main stage on the top of the boat. And it was, like, consider, we're in the middle of a very, very quiet ocean. Like, it's almost silent. There's no noise except for our fucking boat. So we're traveling through the ocean, and for miles around, it's just
is that
metal.
another cruise ship?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm convinced they did it because, like, I saw the ship turning and I was like, and I saw the cruise ship that was kind of ahead of us disappear. I'm like, they're right behind it. They're deliberately going closer to the ship. And I can only imagine it's full of families and old people trying to have a relaxing time. And then fucking Finnish folk metal just breaks in for miles around.
It was a Disney Cruise Line. There were a bunch of young kids.
Yeah, probably.
Mommy, what's happening? Close your ears, dear.
A similar thing happened, I believe, with Carcass. So I watched Carcass' set and we were quite close to another cruise ship. It's like, here's some Carcass, have some death metal. That was entertaining. But for those who are into metal,
how many days was it?
It was 5 days-ish, like, if you count the day where we landed. We came back at 7 a.m., which was a dick move, by the way. Try getting metalheads up at 7 a.m., see how well that goes for you. But we departed at about, I think it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then, we sailed for 2.5 days, quite slowly, to Costa Maya. Stayed in Costa Maya for only 3 hours, which was, well, technically 4, but it took us an hour to get off the boat, because it takes, ages to get people through the checking everything, so that was a pain. We went to Costa Maya Beach. We went to a private beach called Maya-chan, which is incredible, by the way. And if you're ever there, you should go.
Maya-chan!
Yes. Yeah. It's called Maya-chan Beach, and it's a little private beach. It's run by a few people. The whole thing's solar-powered, the whole lot. So even though water reclamation is all done by rainwater and everything like that, you go there, they give you drinks, infinite drinks, and they're amazing drinks, by the way. Just incredible drinks. You eat like fresh fajitas and tacos and things like that. You get a massage and you sit on this private beach in your own little private cabana for about 3 hours, and the whole thing like is about $50 each to do it.
That is super metal.
Wow. Yes, it was a nice little break.
Fajitas and massages.
Yeah. But the best thing about that is, like, all the people there on that day were metalheads. So it was a little bit unexpected for them. But they changed the music, which was usually, like, the Caribbean music they put on. They just changed it to Iron Maiden and just played that over the beach.
There you go.
I could not recommend that place more. I wanted to stay for way, way longer than that. It was actually, like, the top-rated attraction on TripAdvisor. So we thought, you know what, we'll go there. And it was absolutely right to go there. And the people there are really nice. The only thing I would say about it is if you're not a fan of bumpy roads, well, a federal highway in that end of Mexico. Yeah, so a federal highway is what that was in Mexico, is actually a sand road filled with potholes. They drove us there in a Chevy Tahoe, and that's the only acceptable place to own a Chevy Tahoe, because you need that 4x4 to get there. And we took a cab on the way back that got stuck in a hole on the way back, and we had to push it out of the fucking hole. Oh, God.
That is pretty metal.
That was pretty metal. Yeah. But for those into metal, I think the highlight of the whole trip, aside from the obvious fact that we were able to go to the onboard Johnny Rockets while they were playing death metal instead of the usual 50s stuff, because they changed all the music on the ship. So they're playing fucking Cannibal Corpse, and we're eating burgers, and there's a giant foghorn in the background, because it's foggy things. Like, well, this is a unique experience that I will never have again, so, I should treasure this moment. I was sitting next to 4 Swedes, 2 of them were wearing spandex. It was...
Perfect.
It was a terrible thing. And we were drinking light up pina coladas that the guy was just refilling with rum over and over again. I was like, well, that's a unique experience.
Mm-hmm.
That is pretty unique.
Dude, that's sweet. So how did they handle like the lineup? Was it just like these fucking bands just playing like nonstop for like 24 hours? Like,
everyone, not 24 hours, but they had 41 bands on the boat. So they had 3 venues. They had like a lounge venue, an indoor concert venue, and the outdoor venue, which was fine until the outdoor concert venue flooded on the last day because we went through a storm. So they had to move everything indoors, which made things really awkward. But that's how they handled that. Each band plays 2 sets, and they can play whatever the fuck they want. So the highlight of it for me was seeing Fear Factory, which is a band that probably the most mainstream band that was on the boat, but they play really well. They played the entirety of their old album, Demanufacture, from start to finish, in chronological order. That's playing songs they've never played live ever before. And they're just like, we're just going to play Demanufacture. And they just did it. And it's like, this is awesome. The best.
Dude, that's cool.
Yeah. It was a good experience. It was a costly experience, but everyone on the boat was really nice. I actually heard from the staff on the boat that they like the metal cruises the most because they're the most polite and nice people that ever go on that boat.
Really? That's so awesome.
Because the families and the fucking old people are a bunch of bitches, basically. They complain about everything, whereas we don't care. Metalheads are generally used to sleeping in shitty cold tents and eating festival food. So when we get given a steak, even though it might not be the most mind-blowing steak ever, to us it's the best food ever. And we're super polite about everything, and we don't cause any trouble. And apparently, according to their stats, 4 times as much alcohol as a regular cruise is consumed on the metal boat.
That
and
also
I can believe
does not
it.
surprise me.
I can believe it.
Great. Sounds fantastic.
It was pretty great. So that was the metal cruise. It was kind of great.
Metal!
It was pretty cool. I also played video games.
Well,
While
what
on the Metal
games,
Cruise.
TB?
I actually played quite a few. I beat Metal Gear Rising straight up on the boat because I had a little bit of downtime. So hey, I'll bring my new laptop. I'll play Metal Gear Rising on it. It worked fine. Beat the whole game. Now that is a metal game.
That is a metal game, guys.
That is metal as fuck. Jesse, how far are you in it? Have you beaten the thing yet? Or?
I am, from what's recorded to what's... I'm on whatever mission 5 is. So I guess the last one. But it's only recorded up... I just finished 3.
Mission 5? 5 is not the last... The case file, that's not the last case file.
Okay, maybe I'm not.
You're pretty close.
I am starting 4 on the channel. I am on 5 in real
What's
life.
the last boss you beat?
Oh god, what the Big Baldo? I can't remember his name right now.
Sundowner?
Yes, thank you.
You beat
With the
Sundowner,
helicopters
okay.
and yeah.
Yeah. So, if you think Sundowner's difficult, you ain't fucking seen nothing yet.
No, Sundowner, like, I thought Monsoon, which I just uploaded 2 days
Monsoon
ago,
is a fucking
that guy was
dick.
an asshole.
God.
When you attack him, he just like, I'm different parts of my body now. Yuck, yuck, yuck. It's like, F you, dick.
I hate
You're
that.
an asshole. Yeah, that was... But then people were like, why don't you just throw an EM grenade? That's why they're dropping. I didn't even consider that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I could have done that. But instead I just sat there blocking all of his attacks, waiting. And the fight took like 20 minutes longer than it should have. Because I'm just like trying to deflect every attack. And I was like, for those of you who have never experienced this, we've talked about it for the last 12 million podcasts. Get on our level, play Metal Gear Rising. It is
that good.
So good.
Yeah.
It is ridiculously silly. I am playing as the main character in a poncho and
Yes.
sombrero now.
I wore the poncho and the sombrero as well. The mariachi
Can't
outfit.
not
is the
do
best.
that. You look great. And then
That is true.
I bought the sai that the neon
Yes.
sais that Monsoon had, because why the hell not? Why wouldn't I have neon sais to murder people? That's the kind of it's great. It's a fantastic game.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. I beat it. The second off last boss was the worst for me. It was
Sam? Is
Yeah.
it Jetstream?
It's
first off, that is
Jetstream Sam.
that is Antonio Banderas. First off, that is
Yeah.
They went and found it. It's all there's. In fact, the more I see that game, the more I'm convinced they watched the whole like Once Upon a Time in Mexico franchise, like Desperado and Mariachi, and then just threw it in the game, because I feel like it is. All the plot points are there. I'm like, this is very similar, except for, the brain thing. But other than that, I was like, he's trying to save the kid, and they have weird weapons. And I was like, this is a very silly game.
Oh yeah, I think they wear their influences on the sleeve with that one. But yeah, the Jetstream Sam boss fight is tricky. Let me put it that way. It takes a lot of practice to learn what he's doing, but it's also a very satisfying boss fight. Still loving the soundtrack. I listen to it like every day. It's that good. Absolutely phenomenal.
It's pretty great.
Yeah, I'm playing the Jetstream Sam DLC, by the way, is pretty fun.
And I can. Oh, is that the one where you play as
Jetstream
Sam and the dog, or is that?
No, there's a separate DLC for the dog. You get all of this free, by the way, with the PC version. So yeah, there's a Blade Wolf DLC where you play as the dog. The dog's actually surprisingly hard to play because you get very little health. You actually have to be a lot more stealthy with the dog than you might think. And you've
Is
got to
that
be
why he
way
always runs off like an asshole? Because I hate that guy. I'm like, you could stick around and help me. For like
yeah,
5
he can only
minutes,
take about
dog.
3 hits. Like, and if you aggro some of the stuff, you're fucked. Like, you don't have the tool set necessary to beat that stuff. So, the Blade Wolf DLC is pretty hard. Jetstream Sam is just a badass DLC, because he gets an entire new set of sword moves, and he's entirely focused on the sword. And some of his sword moves are fucking insane. So, if you love the power creep, then that DLC's got you covered.
I cannot, like, it's like they took the Metal Gear formula and it's already sort of like getting progressively sillier. But they took the Metal Gear formula and they're like, let's make it even. Like when Monsoon shows up, he's like, I am Monsoon, something of the West Wind. And it's like, who the fuck are you? Like, who are you? You literally, it's
They're also to do with the wind. The whole thing is like to do with the wind. Jetstream Sam, Mistral, that's wind. I'm not really sure what Sundowner was to do with the wind, but there's a lot of wind references in that game for some reason. I don't know why.
So silly. So like it and like when when Raiden goes Super Saiyan, he's like, turn off my pain inhibitors, and he's like, and he pulls the sword out.
He just get literally stabbed through the chest, and that's what gets him going. I'm like, well, bro, I'm not gonna be judgmental, but that's a little silly.
Oh, it is ridiculous. It is. If you want to play anime, the video game, that's what it is. It is full on. Like every trope that ever existed exists in this thing.
It really does.
I can't even. It's amazing. It's so much fun. That's right. Someone chats like, pain. This is why I fight.
The whole why do you fight thing. Oh, apparently Sundowner is a kind of wind.
Oh.
It's a wind condition in LA, as it turns out.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, apparently. That's interesting.
Looking it up.
A sundowner is an offshore northern foehn wind in Santa Barbara, California. There you go.
Oh.
So,
Santa Barbara.
yep.
There you go.
It is also, got to say, the only game which allows you to rip up a futuristic version of Denver. So, why not?
That's pretty great. That's pretty. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to describe it. It's one of those games that you would think would be awful, and when people played it originally, people were like, "It's okay." And having played it, it is like one of my favorite games right now. I can't even describe to you
It's so good.
why it's so good. And I think it has to go to the sound team. I give the sound team complete credit because the way each boss fight crescendos, and to the point where music, like the vocals come into the song.
Yeah, they have separate versions of the music.
It's brilliant.
They've got both instrumental and vocal music. So when it gets to the last phase, it kicks in, and you can't even tell the transition. They do it that well, and it is just amazing.
And it's not even boss fights. It's like anytime there's a major fight.
It kicks in with something great from the soundtrack, and it all sounds amazing. The last boss, I don't know.
It's awesome.
Some people ask me about my opinion on the last boss, and I don't know, because the last boss has two phases. I don't want to ruin what it is, but the last boss, it almost felt like one of those boss fights like at the end of Dark Souls, where like it's not a hard fight at all, it's just there for kind of story completeness. And it kind of felt like that. Some people said, oh, it was hard. Like, no, it's not. Like, the last boss is way, way easier than Jetstream Sam is. Before that, there's like the first phase of it is incredible to watch, but it's more of a spectacle than anything else. It's almost like Star Wars, like where there's the original Star Wars, where the fights are more about the dialogue than the actual fight. That's what the last boss of that sounds like. And the dialogue between them is hilarious, because the last boss has some very interesting beliefs, let me put it that way. And it like almost convinces Raiden of them, and it's like, you're crazy, like, and some of his dialogue is just insane. But again, I don't want to spoil it for people.
It's anime the game.
I was about to
all
say,
the dialogue
that sounds very anime.
Yeah, it is.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, but yeah,
I would imagine with like the sword, does it have like samurai elements, like from like, I don't know, like Kurosawa film kind of thing? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the whole Desperado idea, there's definitely aspects from there. Jetstream Sam in particular is he's a samurai,
Okay, cool.
a Brazilian samurai, but he is a samurai nonetheless. And
He's Antonio.
Raiden is technically a ninja, but he uses a samurai sword, and he's got the whole protect the weak kind of thing going on.
That's cool.
And the sword is very much focused. Like, swords in general are very focused in that game. There's an actual blade mode, which allows you to slow down time and actually cut the enemy up.
Yeah.
And the cuts are actually there, and it even counts how many parts you cut them into, which is ridiculously satisfying.
That's awesome.
It's a brilliant game. What is not a brilliant game?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
I played
Is
Dungeon Keeper on iPad.
Why would you do that? You know it's going to be bad just because it's Dungeon Keeper on iPad.
I'm gonna cradle this while I do it, because
I was about to say.
this guy needs protection. Like, he has been defiled in the worst possible way. You don't understand. That game is the most abysmal fucking thing that EA has ever made in their long history of creating video games.
That means a lot.
That means a lot. Like, some people complained about the monetization model of Plants vs. Zombies 2, right? And I think it was a pretty legit way of doing it, because that game in general it stretched the game out.
Nidhogs.
All right. It stretched the game out, and unless you wanted to repeat the same levels time and time again in order to advance to the next one, you had to basically pay money to skip stuff, yeah? Which, to me at the time, that was bullshit. But in comparison to Dungeon Keeper on iPad, that is the best business model I have ever fucking heard. Because Dungeon Keeper on iPad is not a game. It is not a fucking game. It is a complete waste of your time that is in every way designed to squeeze money out of you at every possible opportunity. Holy crap. Like, it even taunts you with it early on in the game in the tutorial. It's like their version of the Horned Reaper, who is fucking bullshit Horned Reaper, by the way. He's like emo Horned Reaper. He's like, I'm listening to Linkin Park level of Horned Reaper. It's in his awkward teenage years Horned Reaper. So screw that guy. He doesn't even have the original voice actor. They're working on Wolf the Overworld, but it talks about gems, and it's like, oh yeah, some really despise this currency and things like that. It's literally rubbing it in your face that microtransactions are involved. And it lies to you as well. It's like, oh, don't worry about spending a bunch of gems in the tutorial, because we'll just give you some more after the tutorial's done. They fucking barely do. Like, if you sink a bunch of gems in the tutorial, they barely give you any back. So they're bullshitting you from there. Whenever you do a raid, it says at the end, oh, but you could have earned so much more if only you had Dungeon Keeper Premium. You could have got 40% more. Buy it now. Buy it now.
Oh, Jesus.
And it gets worse. I mean, that stuff's obnoxious enough, but the way that they have warped the game design of Dungeon Keeper on iPad. In Dungeon Keeper, what you did was you mined out areas of the map, and you created rooms, and you built your own custom dungeon. And you could do it very quickly, because your imps were pretty efficient. So you draw this, like, okay, it's a 5x5 room, I'm going to bandbox this, there we go. I'm going to draw my tunnel up here, and then branch it off here, and you can kind of plan it out, and you can do that all very quickly. Here, there are blocks in the game that take 24 fucking hours to mine. 24 hours. Per block. But it's okay, because you can pay $2.50 to mine the block out.
No, are you
I'm not joking. I'm not fucking kidding.
Oh
I wish I was joking. I wish I was joking.
What?
And you remember Dungeon Keeper was all about building a dungeon and going against like waves of heroes that would invade your dungeon and try and steal your loot, right? There's none of that. No, it's not there. Your actual dungeon, your dungeon screen, is never invaded, ever. Like, it's invaded on a separate screen. And it's done in kind of PvP, basically. And if you want to attack, like you want to raid something, it takes you off that map and goes on an entirely separate map, which consists of nothing more than placing minions down and watching them run around the map. And that's it.
Geez.
That's all you fucking do. There is no direct control of any of that whatsoever.
God.
You know what really bothers me about it? It's like, in Dungeon Keeper 1 and 2, you have a thriving dungeon. It's like its own ecosystem. You've got, the guys getting in fights, like the flies are fighting the spiders, the vampires don't like the skeletons, so they're having a fight, and they're all going and training and doing all sorts of other stuff. It feels alive. This game feels dead. Absolutely dead. The dungeon screen, nothing is fucking happening, because you have like 2 imps in total, not 30, and you have to spend gems to get more imps. And you can only mine out.
To ask.
Yeah. So each imp actually mines out like 1 block at a time. So you can't even make like a 3x3 room. You can't drag it out because you can only mine out like 1 or 2 things at a time. So it's fucking farcical. The dungeon just feels dead. Like, it feels like a browser game, quite literally, that they just put a graphical overlay on and hope for the best. It's actually worse than the SOE Facebook game that came out a number of years ago called Dungeon Overlord, which wasn't pretending to be Dungeon Keeper, but it wore its influences on its sleeve. And you know what? For a Facebook game, it was actually pretty good. This game is worse than that. Like, way fucking worse than that. It is an abomination. It is pissing on the corpse of the Dungeon Keeper franchise. It is incredibly disrespectful to everybody. Yes, Dodger.
Did you spend money on it?
No, not at all.
Is it a free game?
It's a free-to-play game. And it fucking, you can tell.
In quotes. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Free to play. Also known as free to wait around and not do a fucking thing with it. Yeah. And you know what's so disgusting? In the middle of the game, they actually say, oh, if you rate us 5 stars, we'll give you free gems. So that's how they got all their initial 5 stars. And then there was like a backlash against it, and now people are starting to rate it 1 star because they realize it's fucking bullshit, bait and switch. It's a horrible, horrible game. You can't even do anything. You can't do anything. That's the worst thing about it. You can't fucking do anything. You want to play that game for more than a minute? You can't, because there's nothing to do. Like, you go in there, you pick up your fucking resources, all of which could be bought, by the way. Each of them has a plus next to it. You could buy imps, you could buy gold, you could buy gems, you could buy ore, you could buy all of that shit. Yeah? And you go in there, and instead of mining out gold in the way that you did with Dungeon Keeper, where you mined out gold and it was a finite resource, you've just got this gold farm that basically gives you gold every hour, and then you press on it like Farmville. And Simpsons Tapped Out. You collect your resources like that.
God damn it, that is...
And that's all there is! That is all there is!
It's so stupid.
It's not a video game! It's not a video game!
Mobile games now, and it's just so fucking irritating.
It's
where they're like,
fucking
well,
calculator.
I mean, it's a mobile game, so, you you check in every now and then and see how it's going. And I'm
That's
like, no,
not a
I
video
want to
game,
sit
that's-
and play a game.
That makes you doesn't make you a gamer, it makes you a fucking caretaker. You know, it's like, it's a job.
It's
like
a
job.
Tamagotchi. It's
I was
Tamagotchi
just about to say,
Yeah.
it's like Tamagotchi.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Except you
It's
pay
like-
fucking money for the
but-
privilege of playing with it.
Yeah, it's just like a time waster. Like at that point, it
It
just
is.
becomes like a thing that you do to just like pass time rather than get enjoyment out of it. It's just like, well, I have 5 minutes. Let me fucking do this and
I think
drop
that's what
$2
they
to advance the game.
That's exactly what it is. But they've taken a beloved franchise and just destroyed it with this game. If you look at something like, say, if you want to hear about a time waster, you think about a game like Tiny Tower, right? Tiny Tower is a time waster, and it wears that on its sleeve, and it doesn't make you pay for shit. Yeah, you don't have to. You can play that game because there isn't really a game to play, and it's a little bit satisfying. It's a nice little time waster. That's about it. But Dungeon Keeper is pretending to be a real video game, and it fucking isn't. It's not.
Yeah.
It is. EA have a lot to answer for with that. It is disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. And what really gets me is that Apple gave it the Editor's Choice Award for that week.
No.
And does that just tell you how cancerous the App Store is? Like, there is a cancer within mobile gaming, and it needs to be excised. It needs chemo, because that is killing mobile video games. The whole way that they're building these games is from the ground up to make as much money from you as possible. Yeah? They're taking gameplay elements out. They're stretching the content out to the point where there barely is any content anymore. You know, it's like pulling Play-Doh apart, you know, and it gradually gets thinner and thinner and thinner, but except, you know, eventually it's going to fucking snap. And there's no substance there whatsoever. It pisses me off because, you know, this is my fucking childhood right here, you know? Dungeon Keeper 1 in the proper size box. It's got, this is all like laminated. Like, this is slightly raised and laminated, and it's got a little Velcro thing, and you can open it up kind of like a book. And in the box, you see what, you know, let's have a look at what's in the box, shall we? Let's have a look.
Okay.
All right,
If you want to live
Hold
TV's
on.
childhood,
that's a CD.
you can do so.
You see that? That's a CD with a real video game on it.
What
You
is
know what
that?
else is in there? There's a manual. There's an actual, legitimate game manual. You see this? You see the size of this thing? This thing doesn't have page numbers on it. I estimate this thing is about 100 or so pages of content. There is more content in this one manual than there is in the entire new Dungeon Keeper game. That is what a video game
sad,
is.
man. You're making me real sad, dude. I need a
It's
pick-me-up. I need
depressing.
something to feel good about.
Mobile gaming
wanna feel
is
good-
disgusting.
If you want to feel good, you can go to GOG.com and get the original Dungeon Keeper
Damn right.
Gold for $6 right now. Go do it.
This man.
Damn right.
I like this man. I like
Yeah.
this man a lot.
You can.
This
Dungeon Keeper 1 or 2.
guy.
You know, or look at, you know, War for the Overworld, which is currently in beta right now, which is being made by Subterranean Games, which is coming along nicely. I played the latest beta of it. It feels and looks like Dungeon Keeper. It's like, yes. Thank God there is a studio that actually has a fucking spine.
Somebody.
Yeah, someone has some dignity. Because EA fucking doesn't.
That's true. That's true. No matter
And that's Dungeon Keeper for iOS.
Dungeon Keeper, ladies and gentlemen.
no matter how many good things are ever said about EA, they're always a million. Like, they can never do anything right, which I think is amazing. Because even when you're like, I want you guys just do something right, they just continually fuck up, and it's like, you guys are the
I
worst.
cannot
Like,
wait to see what they do to Titanfall.
Oh, God.
Oh, yep.
EA, like, I give EA a benefit of the doubt a lot, yeah, when it comes to PC gaming. Like, people hate on Origin, and there's legitimate reasons, but there's some things about Origin that I like. You know, the Great Games Guarantee is really consumer-friendly. It's something that Steam fucking doesn't do. There's certain features of Origin that you were able to install a game to a different hard drive years before Steam allowed that kind of stuff. It had its nice little features every now and again, and don't get me wrong, they sometimes publish good games, but lately, with the Battlefield 4 fiasco and now this shit... I'm running out of patience with that company right now.
Yeah.
They're really great. They're really great.
And so this is not a good time for me to bring up my new job with EA. Not a good time for that.
Oh, I'm
Oh, wait,
CEO
oh, wait, oh, wait,
of
oh, wait.
EA now.
Oh,
You
yeah,
guys
no.
didn't hear that? I just put out a press release. That Microsoft guy got hired, and I kind of got buried. So I understand if you missed it. So my bad.
No, you don't even need to worry about that. Like, one of our best friends works at EA, and we still are like, you guys are the fucking worst. And he's like, oh. Yeah,
I just want them to be the EA of old, because the funny story about EA is that they're the reason that Populous got published in the first place, because no one else would take Populous, yeah? Because they didn't want to take the risk on it, because it was too different. EA took the risk on Populous. And then EA published a bunch of other Bullfrog games that were incredible, you know? Fucking Magic Carpet, and Syndicate, and Dungeon Keeper, and Theme Hospital, and Theme Park, and all that really great stuff. And now they just make me sad. Every time I look at what EA does now, I'm just sad. Let's go to a break. And when we come back, we'll talk about the games that you and Dodger have been playing, Jesse. And then we'll talk about news, which may or may not involve EA, but hey.
Yay!
Yay.
I'm sad. I think I'm going to break out the alcohol. It's 4 PM and I feel like I need a shot. We'll be right back. You're watching the Co-optional Podcast. Don't go anywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Co-optional Podcast. What were you worried about, Jesse?
Nothing. We were talking about the Hunger Games, and I was saying that I was worried about the next 2 movies because of
What do you mean 2?
Death.
Yeah, man, I was just thinking about that.
They're making it 2.
What?
They're doing the Harry Potter thing and making the last book 2 movie.
Fuck's sake.
And the Twilight thing, yeah. So I was worried because Philip Seymour Hoffman died that would affect his character. But apparently he filmed almost, except for like 7 days of shooting, he filmed almost all of it. So
wow.
Oh, wow.
We lucked out there.
Yeah.
But
Thank God he did that, because, we have no other reason to care that Philip Seymour Hoffman died. That's
well, I mean, look, I was not a big fan of of Hunger Games, and then I got invested. And now I'm like, I just want to see what happens, because I don't want to read the books.
Second one was good. I'll give him credit for that. It was a fucking huge improvement. Huge improvement over the first one.
Yeah, there was actually a lot going on there.
I'm on a podcast with 3 men, and the 3 men have seen it, and I have not.
Oh no, it has a lead female character. That means it's for girls. That's not how it works in the adult world.
She's the lead character? I always thought it was the guy. I just thought she was there to look pretty.
No. Take that, Tumblr.
No, it was a good movie, and so I was invested in what happened in the next one. Then when I heard there was 2, I was like, well, I'll still see them both, but I'm not happy about it.
Dragging it out.
And so it's all because people want to do the Star Wars thing, but they want to do it in 4 movies. So like Empire Strikes Back was the story, and Return of the Jedi was like 2 hours of a fight. And that's what they want to do. That's what Harry Potter did. So they stuck all the story in one and then made a big fight. And then like that's what it is. And that's what they want to do. And it's like, okay, I gotcha, but
yeah.
It just bit my lips so hard.
Well, I was going to ask you what you've been playing this week, but I'm going to let Jesse talk now because you managed to injure yourself. So I don't think we should have you talking anymore because apparently it's too dangerous to your well-being.
Dodger's dead, Rip.
Well, it would do. You just jammed your teeth into your flesh, you dumb woman. Jesse, what have you been playing this week?
This week, I played 2 things. Unfortunately, I played Elder Scrolls Online some more, and I played WildStar, and I can't talk about either. So,
are you sure you can't talk about WildStar? When's the NDA up on that? I think
I don't know, which is why I'm like, hey.
Hang on, I'm gonna check my archives here because I'm pretty sure I have the NDA around here somewhere. I thought there was a part of it you could talk about, but.
Most people know what I already think, so it's not that big of a deal. But and then I played Broken Age this week. Like literally all week, I played Broken Age, which was.
How did you manage to do that, considering it's only about 4 hours long?
Well, all week. I mean 3 days. It just took long to upload because there's one point for about 14 hours when YouTube would not let me upload anything. So thanks, YouTube.
Fair enough.
And so, that game was a lot of fun, but. I think that Hannah over at the Oxcast probably played it best, switching back and forth between characters. Because when I played one story, then the other story. And about halfway through the second story, I realized what was going on. It was like, oh, I see your plot twist. I saw it coming a mile away. But even with that said, there's so many unanswered questions. It's probably a game that is going to get me back.
It's a two-parter, right?
Yes.
Yeah. There's an Act 2 coming out. And so
because they didn't manage their money properly, ran out of money, and had to release the damn thing on early access. Well done, Double Fine. This might be why you don't get published
and
anymore.
they got so much money.
They really did. It's pretty galling, honestly. You know, it's.
I think they spent it all on the voice actors because there's a lot of voice actors in this game, and they're all really good, which is very strange because, you know, I guess this is, you know, point and click adventures have to be this way, I think, but the main characters, the girl and the one, Shay, the guy, you know, they play it very straight, but everyone else is just insane.
Yes.
And I like that. I like that a lot. I was like, all right, you guys got it figured out. And so it kind of got me on a kick of like, I need to play more point and clicks. Because that's what, back in the day, that's pretty much all I played on a computer. Was like a point and click adventure. That's how you did stuff. And there's the characters, and I think I might go down that alleyway this summer and play some more point and click adventures because it was fun. I had a lot of fun playing it. So yeah, like Elijah Wood, great actor, and he played it very straight. Like he didn't go, like there wasn't a lot of emotion in his character. Like the two main characters were pretty just like, all right, yeah, no, so I got to do this now. Great. and everyone else is like, I'm crazy. Like Will Wheaton played a hipster lumberjack. I mean, that was his character. And it was like, this is great.
Gosh.
These are great characters. I was blown away that Jack Black was in it. I was like, what are you doing in here?
Oh, that's cool.
That's where all the money went, guys.
Yeah.
I figured it out.
From what I'm told, they all kind
of.
of did it because they're sort of personal friends of. I mean, Jack Black in particular is a personal friend of Tim Schafer, obviously, because of his involvement with Brutal Legend. Yeah, they will have done it at probably a significantly lower rate than they otherwise would have done it. So, as much as it's easy to say, oh, they spent it all on the voice actors, no, they probably didn't. They most likely spent it on a bunch of other bollocks.
And even though I continually hate on her, not because she's bad, because she's in everything. Jennifer Hale's in this one as well.
Yeah, of course she is.
And I will say, you always forget the range she has. And I always forget that she not only does like badass women characters, but she also does children's cartoon shows and things for like kids. And so her playing as the mother in the Shay story is hilarious because he's like, computer, what's in store for us today? And she's like, oh, I wish you'd call me mom, honey. He's like, I wish you'd call me Captain. She's like, okay, Captain, sweetie. Like it's really endearing, and you're just like, it's, you know, it's a fantastic game. Like everything about it is really, really great. But I will say it's very easy. Like it's for a point and click, it is very solvable. There was maybe one puzzle I was like, I don't even know what to do right now. And the solution was so simple, even my mind couldn't comprehend how easy it was. I was like, oh, shut up. Really? Other than that, it was very simple to figure things out, which I think, like, I miss the days of, like, Seventh Guest and, like, the 11th Hour and games like that where it was like, I have no clue what to do. I'm going to spend, like, 3 hours trying to figure this shit out.
Riven,
Like,
there's an example. Yeah. 5 discs of
Riven.
pull this hidden lever, something happened on the island. Figure out what. Like, no! I'm not going to do that.
Yes, all of that is, I mean, that's where it's at. Like, those games, if you've, I think you can get them real cheap too on both Steam and GOG. But like,
get them on GOG because they'll
Guest.
probably work there. You know.
Yeah, go get Seventh Guest. Play that game. I'm telling you, it is a classic, really good game. Like from way back when, from the CD-ROM, early CD-ROM era of like, we're gonna put people in the game. Woo, actors. Yeah, it's actually really fun.
Yeah.
So that's what I played this week.
All right.
Did we get any update on WildStar? Because I mean.
I'm trying to read the embargo right now. It's fairly lengthy.
Seems like a hassle.
The weird thing is, like, I think there are multiple embargoes for different parts of the content. So that's what sort of makes it awkward.
Well, with that said, I'll probably when both those games come out, I'll probably do I'll probably disappear for a week and play through them all and get to Cap and then give you like a impression like I did with Final Fantasy 14. I was like, yeah, no, this game is garbage.
I am almost 100% certain. I'm just reading the last piece of the information now that you can talk about levels 1 through 15, and you can talk about 2 classes: the medic, I think, and the engineer. Yeah, but that's apparently what the preview content was sort of. Yeah, I could just talk about what I played at PAX, which is definitely not NDA'd, but I guess we'll just wait until like the embargo's properly up, which is levels 15 to 25. Embargo lifts on February 19th. So, yeah.
All right. Yeah. So you wait a few weeks, and then we can talk about it.
Then we'll just talk about it then. It's just easier that way, you know.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I'll speak for you. The game is great. The voice acting, very good. Levels 1 through 15, not bad. Not bad.
But where's I have a but though. I have a big button there, and I don't.
A big.
I don't.
Go on.
No, it still feels like it still has that like WoW feeling to me, and I can't shake it. I don't know why. It feels like deep in its core, like it's part of the. I have big hopes for EverQuest Next, because even Elder Scrolls still has that WoW feeling to me, and it's kind of like I just want us to move on. Like, if I'm gonna play another WoW game, I'll play WoW. I mean, that's just what it will be.
It's hard to convince people to play. This has been tried over and over and over again, right? And we've seen it time and again fail miserably. If EA with over $200 million can't convince you to play the Old Republic and in record time has to go free to play, you probably can't do it with less than that, or with, anything that doesn't depart radically, and I mean radically, from World of Warcraft. And I'm afraid that what I've played of WildStar does not depart radically enough from WoW. It's like 75% WoW, 15% not EverQuest 2, Guild Wars 2, and a little sprinkling of sci-fi in there for the theme. That's my feel of it. Even the raids look and feel very, very similar. And I've seen plenty of footage of the raids and like, wow. If I really loved the WoW formula and was just completely sick of WoW, I can understand that I would be the target demographic for this. But I think that demo is too small, because those of us who are done with WoW are done with every game that's even remotely like it.
Exactly.
We want something completely different now.
And that's why, like, every time I get, like when I first saw Elder Scrolls almost a year and a half ago, I was so excited, because I was like, the potential here is you guys are going to make something great. And the more I see, the more I'm like, it's continually looking more and more like WoW. And then WildStar, even what I saw at all the conventions I've been to, I'm like, every time I play it, I'm like, it feels like WoW. I just want something so different. But I guess that's not what people are ready for, because the time it takes to make one.
By that point, that's the horrible thing about MMOs, is that things like Elder Scrolls Online and WildStar have been in development for years and years and years. I remember playing WildStar at Gamescom 2010, maybe? Yeah, something like that, or 11, and it had already been in development for a number of years before that. And it was the same problem that the Old Republic had, because when they started that, WoW was at its height. It was, everyone was trying to make WoW, and they're like, right, okay, we can do it with Star Wars. In theory, that sounds like genius, right? How could that possibly fail?
They hooked me, man. I was ready to do it. Like, I played Old Republic for a little bit, and I was like, oh, fucking sweet, Star Wars and WoW, that's great, it's gonna be great. And then it was just like, it's just WoW with Star Wars. That's all it was. There's nothing more to it than that.
Yeah, and I got totally hooked in initially. We all did, didn't we? When we played initially, for the first 20 levels, we're like, wow, this is exactly what I was looking forward to, next generation World of Warcraft. Holy shit, look at all this. And then you start the veneer comes off, and it's like someone pulls back the curtain. It's like, oh fuck, I've been playing the same game that I've been playing for the last 7 years. God damn it.
But TB, they got starships in this one. All right.
They actually do now.
It's gotta be different. No, they do now. And I heard it's pretty fun to play.
I gotta be honest, that actually did tempt me a little bit to go back, because oh, okay, so they basically put jump to light speed in from Star Wars Galaxies. All right, I can maybe dig that. Maybe I'll go back. Maybe. And then I suddenly realized, oh wait, it's an MMO. I could play 1,000,001 other things that would not be as big a time sink as this, and where the content would be. I've said it before, MMOs have quantity, but they don't have quality. The amount of enjoyment per hour is way lower than any other game. So, And
that's what killed it for me in Final Fantasy 14. Is I was very excited. In the beginning, you're like, this world's huge and there's so much to do and it's great and your characters are cute and the graphics are beautiful and the music's fantastic. But at the end of the day, games start to feel like in category, you can tell if a game feels like Rift, where it's like, okay, this is nice, but you need friends in order to make it fun, right? Or if it's a WoW thing, it's like, I can do this solo, and everything sort of falls in different categories, but it's all the same sort of weird MMO genre that just nothing's changed, nothing changes, and it drives me crazy, because that's what I desperately want, because I want to find another MMO that I'll love. But every time I get one, and I literally get them all, I'm like, I want to see what this is about. And they all
really do.
are letdowns. They're all letdowns. It's a real shame.
They all just turn into that same but different thing. It's like everyone's like, oh, I want the new next thing, but it just turns into like the way they're making them is just like, let's give them the same thing but different for some reason. And I think the audience is kind of getting past that. They're just like,
audience
we're done with
fatigue
that.
For that kind of MMO it's beyond done. There's no question. And it's what blows my mind as to why people are excited about Elder Scrolls. I don't understand why people are hyped about that game. Because, I don't know, maybe they see the first person thing, it's like, oh, it's just like Skyrim, but there's more quests. No, it isn't. It is not. It is like WoW, and it's like Guild Wars 2 to some degree. Like, it is not like those games. Do not go into that's like Skyrim. It is not. You will be disappointed.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where having seen and been invited to so many of their things and seeing the process of how they literally in their team were like, half the team wanted it to be like a Skyrim game and half the team wanted it to be like a WoW game, and they were trying to balance it. And I always was like, I hope you guys pull this off, because it sounds, if you could do it, it would be incredible. But it sounds like in the end, like from what I've seen, it sounds like in the end the MMO people won out. Like someone in the development group was like, here's what we're doing. This is the final. This is what it's going to be.
Yeah, because you're going to nail it down eventually.
Right? I like that.
And so
I don't necessarily agree with that, but I feel like we can't really talk about it in depth. Right now.
The problem is you guys have been playing it under NDA, and it's like, well, the real experience I've had with it is when I played it at PAX for like an hour, and from what I've seen after that. So, to be fair, my assessment is based on incomplete information. So I'll certainly try it when it comes out, but I'm not hyped for it. I'm certainly not holding out hope.
The biggest I have such cynicism when it comes to MMOs now, because they all use the same key buzzwords and phrases when you do, like even EQ Next. When I was talking to them there, I was talking about like what was in it and how they were talking about the world itself and how like if you kill these squirrels in this one forest, or you cut down the trees in a forest, the squirrels could go ravage something else, and you can cause a chain reaction.
Player agency, like all stuff
and immediately
like that.
I'm like, that sounds fantastic, but how does it actually work?
Can you make it happen? Yeah.
Because that sounds great, but that's kind of what they promised with Guild Wars 2, whereas like you do this and this does this and this is, but it really is just timed in cycles and it happens over and over and over and over again. You really didn't do anything. You were just there at the right time and it happened. And that's the kind of shit that I was like, when I asked them about that, there was a lot of like, well, it's not like that, but, and I'm like, oh, okay. I gotta wait for this one. I love you guys, but I'm very cynical about what you're telling me right now. Like, I hope it's good. I hope it's really, really good, but I never fully trust anyone when they hype it up, because I'm like, I've been through hype and I've been really hyped about some shit, and you guys have always let me down every single time. So
I can definitely see, why you think that. And I mean, I'm in kind of the same boat with EverQuest Next, where I think it could be my next MMO. It's possible. What I'm hearing about it is what I want to hear. But that's the problem, isn't it? How do you implement that? How do you actually make it work? The reason I've kind of got faith in them is because SOE lately has seemed to have gone down the path of, we are willing to kind of completely depart from what the conventions are and set new conventions. And not even think about, we're going to make it like World of Warcraft. Like, they're not even making it like EverQuest, They're going further than that. And they released PlanetSide 2, which, of course, is very, very unique in the way that it works. It doesn't work all the time, but it's very unique, and they took a risk with that game. So, maybe. We'll see. I really genuinely hope that it works out well for them, and obviously for us to play it, but we are going to have to wait and see on that.
Yeah. I got in trouble because I got really upset while playing Elder Scrolls, and I tweeted.
Oh, don't do that. NDA'd.
Yeah, because I thought that it was an embargo on putting up videos, not necessarily talking about it.
No, it's all things. Yeah.
Yeah, you're completely locked down on everything.
They gave me an email being like, don't stop. I was like, oh, sorry. Oops.
Gotta be very careful with those NDAs. Very careful.
Oops.
So, aside from Elder Scrolls, Dodger, did you actually play anything you can talk about?
I've been playing Octodad. That game gets mega frustrating.
Oh my god.
Fucking
Dude,
Octodad.
I want to play so bad.
Oh, it's great. I love it so far, and did some of the co-op. The co-op is really fun as well.
I'm doing that tonight with Jen for a video for the channel.
You're gonna have the best arguments of your life.
Yeah.
So wait, what's the co-op part of it? I haven't seen anything about the co-op part of it.
So with co-op, you choose who controls what limb.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, and so you're like, you gotta walk. Hey, move your leg. What are you doing? Why are we both holding on to the seat? You need to let go right now. It's fantastic. It's really, really fun, actually.
Nope.
That's fucking great.
But yeah, I'm really, really enjoying Octodad. It's like, it's the only way to make fetch quests okay. I feel like at this point in my life, like playing as many games with just pointless fetch quests, I'm like, I'm kind of okay with fetch quests when the game makes it feel impossible to do it without just like knocking everything over.
Yeah, it makes it more fun when you have 4 chairs stuck to you for some reason. And
yeah, you're like, why am I holding on to a chair and the fridge? How do I let go? And it's good.
That's awesome.
I like barbecued one of my limbs as I was trying to make burgers at one point.
Oh, oops.
Oh man, that is a game where its main mechanic is frustration. Like the whole game is based around your personal frustration, but that sort of perversely is the enjoyable part of the game, which is really weird and shouldn't be the case.
It's really true, and I don't know if it's the aesthetic of the game or what it is, but for some reason it makes the frustration really fun.
I think that they set it in a good amount of context, and I think that's what helps a lot. The dialogue is hilarious. Like, the fact that the family is just flat out ignoring everything, and you think he's about to be discovered, and then they just come up with another reason. Like, in the opening scene, he's about to get married, and someone goes in and just looks at him, and it's like, and it's like, oh shit, they figured out he's an octopus. It's like, you're not even dressed! He's an octopus! How do you not know this? And there's only one person in the game that knows he's an octopus and is constantly trying to kill him. It's
so good. It just seems like it'd be like, it seems like an Adult Swim game. Like if that was like an Adult Swim show, I'd probably watch it because it's just so out of control. But like, I want to play it so bad. I know I'm gonna like punch something, like out of sheer fun, you know.
When I heard that there was gonna be a sequel, that's when I was like, this is maybe my favorite news ever. Like the original was fantastic, and it's like, thank you, world, for having a sense of humor and not shitting on games like this. Like, thank you. That's great.
It's a game that makes me happy. You know, you look at Dungeon Keeper and then you look at this, and it's like, this is a game they wanted to make, and Dungeon Keeper was a game that they were fucking forced to make. You know, and you can see the difference in the two.
Mm-hmm.
But do you have to pay an extra $1 to unstick your limb from the 4 chairs?
Gems.
Yeah,
you have to use extra gems.
That's the wrong thing. You gotta use all your gems to let go.
Gotta get those EA bucks. And then
you gotta wait a half an hour before you can progress.
Oh man.
But yeah, I recommend it for sure. I think it's super
unique.
fun.
I'll give him that.
And you should try the co-op.
It's happening tonight.
There's a roulette mode in co-op that I haven't turned on yet because the game kept thinking that I wanted somebody on the keyboard, and I did not.
Oh.
But roulette mode is where every time you complete an objective, it scrambles what limbs people are in charge of.
That's
oh no.
That seems like the kind of thing that ends friendships, and I'm
marriages,
okay with that.
By the sounds of it.
Marriages, yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Divorce time.
My wife gets
Let's go.
home and I'll tell her
Doing
what
it tonight.
we're playing tonight.
I don't actually mean that.
Aside from those and like my normals, I think that those are the new games I've been playing.
Fair enough.
My normals.
Well, it took us an hour and 40 minutes, but we eventually got through the games we've been playing this week, so that's good.
To the news!
But the news is bad. Like, no one wants to hear the news. It's boring.
Should we talk about movies instead?
No.
You guys want to talk about Hunger Games more?
No.
Just kidding.
Leslie.
We could...
Silent.
Not really a lot to talk about. I'm gonna be honest. This isn't even recent. This is from like a week ago. The fact that Steam has now automated its refund policy and allows you to automatically refund pre-orders.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah. You could do it before, but you had to go through their support system, which if anyone has ever gone through their support system knows is a waste of fucking time most of the time.
Yeah, you had to like explain why you wanted to cancel it, didn't you?
Yeah, it's like, well, it's a pre-order. I should be able to fucking do it anyway. That's
Yeah.
But yeah, they now let you do that automatically, which is a feature that should have been there for years, frankly. The idea that you couldn't cancel a pre-order or they made it even remotely difficult to do it was just farcical at best. And considering Steam has been pushing pre-purchase a lot lately. I mean, ludicrously. I know it's like they've got a pre-order on Metal Gear Slug 3. Metal Gear! Sorry, Metal Gear Slug? Wow. Did I just do that? I did. I fucking just did that. Wow. I'm sorry, Kojima World Order. Okay. Metal Slug, not Metal Gear Slug. What the fuck?
Metal Gear Slug.
Metal Gear Slug. 25% off the pre-order of an old Neo Geo game. Wonderful. Pre-orders. Buy it before it's out. Buy it before it's out. Do it. Fucking do it.
Oh, you don't want to pre-order it? How about early access?
What about early access? You want to buy a game before it's not even finished? You can do that.
Yeah,
let's go to the top sellers. Oh, look, the top sellers are early access games because people are fucking stupid. That's why. That's the only reason.
But you get in early, guys.
Well, you get it early, you get it. Let's buy Rust. It's full of hackers and it's completely incomplete in every possible way, but let's buy it because there's not enough good games on Steam that they could have otherwise bought in the first place. Why did they not just buy a good game that already exists? What the fuck is wrong with you, PC gaming?
I can make videos on YouTube with it. My
oh, yes, it's the gold rush. Get on that bandwagon. Yeehaw! Let's get some gold, some YouTube gold.
Gonna get that gold.
Oh, let's get it gold.
I'm gonna get all that YouTube gold.
Oh, fuck early access and the people that currently support early access.
Unless it's a Request an X landmark, which TB totally supports.
I got it for free, and I've actually told people not to buy it, but okay. No, you definitely should not buy that right now. It's like, when it's finished, maybe. But... Oh.
But if you buy it now, you get special stuff for when the game goes live, guys.
Stop it! Stop it!
Uh-huh.
Stop encouraging that.
You get a pickaxe axe. It hacks and it axes.
Except it barely works. Like, it only works on the small trees because the hit detection's fucked. So no, it doesn't.
That's true. That's true. There's sometimes I tried to record footage, and there's times I walk up to a tree and try to hit it, and just nothing happens.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Fuck. I was like, I'll wait a few weeks.
I'm just really pissed off with what gaming represents right now. I'm sorry. It's like early access and shitty Dungeon Keeper clothes and horrible crap. Like, just stop. It's sad, really, because early access, frankly, should have been something that, maybe a year ago, I would have been really into it. And I kind of was, because, back when I was, like, supporting Kickstarters and some early access stuff, and I was really hyped, because, like, this is the future of gaming. This is the publisherless future of gaming, where we get to democratize this whole thing. We get to support ideas that we like. And to be fair, Kickstarter's got some really cool stuff made, like Broken Age, and Shadowrun Returns, and... War for the Overworld, which is like a year away from being finished, but...
Lately, though, Kickstarter's been kind of lame. I keep going back there every few weeks, and I keep seeing what's on there, and I'm like, I just don't want to support any of you. The last thing I supported was various types of honey. I was like, I can support honey for my tea, so that's what I did. Like, these farmers making honey. I was like, I'll support you. On that, like, it's all
I have stopped backing video games on Kickstarter. Yeah. I have. Like, I back board games now. Because, this thing has physical production costs, and more often than not, they're actually very open and honest about it. I backed, what the hell was the name of it? Zopocalypse, which was a fantastic board game. I backed Golem Arcana. The reason I backed that is because that's by Harebrained Schemes, who delivered Shadowrun. And it's and they delivered it to my satisfaction. It's like, okay, I will back Golem Arcana, because it's a very innovative project. It's a board game. It's really interesting the way they're doing it. And I think, the last game I actually backed was Hyper Light Drifter, because that looked incredible. Aside from that, I have backed... The last few things I've backed have not been games. I've backed Golem Arcana, which is like a war game, a physical tabletop. I backed the Indie Static website for a year, Terraside's debut album, and Star Trek Renegades, which is like a production that's being made, just like a one-off Star Trek thing. And that's it. And I'm pretty much, I think, done with backing video games.
Even ones that people were like, that's the shirt, like the Mighty Number 9 or things like that, where people were like,
that was the sure thing.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't back any of this. Like, people are like, go back this game. and they send me links to games, and I'm just like, this looks awesome, but I'm just done backing stuff unless I get something physical, which is why I backed honey, because I get a bunch of honey. I can put that in my tea, and I feel good about it. Yeah.
It's like when we all back those posters. It's like, we know this guy is going to make the poster. Yeah. We're giving him the money to fund the posters. He made the posters. He delivered the posters, and that was fucking it. And you know what? I don't have to worry about anything. When I back a video game, I've got to worry about 1,000,001 things that could be wrong with it. With a poster, it just needs to be a poster. It's like, is this a poster? Yes. Success!
Yeah, and you can literally quantify it. You know, you're like, well, I would say it costs $1 to print a poster, so I guess that's a cost, and you can you can justify it in your head, but like everything else is just like, I guess it costs $500,000 to make that game. I don't know, maybe.
Apparently, it costs over $3.2 million to make Broken Age, and they ran out of money halfway through, so they had to release the first thing so they can make money to make the rest of it. Like, I am done with that. You know, I think there are plenty of real games that are coming out on a daily basis. Like, go to Steam. Like, there was a blitz of games while I was out, while I was at sea, that actually came out. On the 31st, there were 5, actually more than 5 games. We had Aces Wild, Burning Cars, Sniper Art of Victory, Loadout, Ski Region Simulator Gold Edition, and also FX11. That's 6 video games that came out on that day alone. And before that, we had Octodad, Rim Capsule, Hostile Waters Antius Rising, Tribulus 2, Saturday Morning RPG, Castle Doctrine, Our Darker Purpose. These are real video games that you can buy right the hell now, and most of them are pretty good. You know? Yep. And I don't know, maybe it's just because like I'm talking from the perspective of someone that covers video games, you know, and like this is his job to cover video games. But I'm sick of covering video games that aren't fucking finished, because there are so many finished video games that deserve that coverage.
Yeah. Like legitimately, I back so little nowadays. Like this is the last 3 things I've backed. 100% pure raw artisan honey.
Yes, cool.
Paradise desk, that desk that I was hyped about, that was like the entire top was the mouse pad and like it had plugs. That thing I was freaking out about. Cool. Back that, and then the Game Tea girls from just the Game Tea website and helping them get off the ground. That's literally it. Like, I back so little, I'm like, I can't even be bothered anymore. Yeah. Like, because if I scroll down, there's a time where I was like, I'm backing this, and I'm backing this.
Yeah. I used to back things all the time.
Yeah.
None of this stuff. I gave $25 because I wanted a pair of awesome socks. They never made the socks. How do you not fucking make socks?
How did they fuck that up?
After a while, you just get so jaded. Like, the whole thing is like, you're just taking our money now. Like, you guys are it's for a good year. They had their chunk of time to impress me, and they just didn't. So now I'm like, there's nothing that I want.
Is that what you guys? Do you guys think like a year is like the time frame kind of thing? I guess depending on like if it's a game or like a movie.
If it's a game, it's got to be longer than that. Like otherwise, it's got to be well in production already. Right. Because you see those games, like someone pointed out accurately that Our Darker Purpose was actually a Kickstarter game. Yeah, but they only asked for $40,000 for it, which indicates to me that they were well on the way before they needed additional funding. So that's something to consider there.
Yeah, but at what point do you like cut off your like mental support of them? Do you know what I mean? Like, do you buffer in like all right, I'll give them a year, and then if I don't see it in a year, I'm going to start getting upset about it. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, I'd definitely be upset about it because of the fact that they didn't properly plan it, you know? Funnily enough, Our Darker Purpose came out a month early. Like, it came out in February. It was estimated delivery was March 2014. Yeah?
Oh, nice.
So they nailed it. They did that absolutely right there. But the problem is a lot of the earlier Kickstarters that we backed had no fucking idea what they were doing. Like, to be fair, now is probably a safer time than ever to kickstart, because a lot of these people that are going on Kickstarter now have seen things like Broken Age and the amount of money that cost and the just gross underestimation of how much money was actually needed and how much time was needed, and they've learned from that, because people have become a lot more skeptical. You know, during the Kickstarter gold rush, people would literally back anything, and it did not work out so well for them. But now you have really got to be very descriptive with what you're doing. You've got to plan everything out. You've got to be very open and transparent about it, and that's what should have been there in the first place. Yeah,
on the Kickstarter like back end, there's really not like we did a Kickstarter, and like there really isn't like a thing. It's just like, what happens if this never happens? And Kickstarter's just like, well, that's up to you. It's your business and your reputation. So there's not like a fault to it. So like it's really almost up to like the people who are running it to anticipate all of those things. Like, I don't think people realize like when you launch a Kickstarter, like you have to pay taxes on like the money you get. And I don't think people think about that, and I think people are starting to understand that and being a little more skeptical on both sides between like starting them and supporting them. It was a really nice like golden age of like where everybody was like, oh, if you just think about it, you can do it. And now it's kind of like people are kind of a little more skeptical about it. I mean, there's still great ones out there. It's just not as, we're not hearing about like Zach Braff and Veronica Mars like every 2 seconds now. That
in itself was hilarious, as if they didn't have enough fucking money to do that themselves.
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, but I mean, lately we don't hear a lot about video game Kickstarters anymore, and people are kind of burned out on it, and that's a bit of a shame, because, as I said, I think that the audience is now more responsible, and so are the people that kickstart. Mm-hmm. The actual people that are setting up the Kickstart campaigns, because they've seen what came before, and they've learned from that.
Well, for every, like FTL or Broken Age, I'm trying to think of some of the other games that came out of Kickstarter. For every one of those, there's like an Ouya or things that people dumped a fortune on that literally no one uses, and it's just a complete letdown.
Dodge is just dying inside right now.
I mean,
don't worry, I backed it too. Sorry,
I didn't back the Ouya.
I did. I was just like, oh, that sounds cool.
She has Towerfall though, so she didn't give a shit.
Yeah, I just play Towerfall on my PC now.
I don't fundamentally understand. There's one of the first things I ever backed was a game that looked really cool to me, and I was like, I'll give them $10 because I can support this. And it's in the large scheme of things of what I spent on Kickstarter, it's nothing. But that was the very first thing I backed, and it still does not exist. It's like, well, that taught me a very fundamental lesson. That from then on, I was like, unless you have stuff that's done and in your description you say like, this is just so we can ship it or we can get it out, I won't even consider it. Like if it's like, we're in the planning stages and we have a lot of art and we have screenshots and things like,
no,
you will never exist. You will never exist.
Yeah. To me, it's like, the reason I back board games, I think, is because it's very obvious as to how much a board game is going to cost to make. Yeah, if they say, right, we're this far out with development and rules, and this is how much it costs to actually make the physical thing, because that's where the majority of that cost goes, and you know that, and you can figure that out way in advance. And as a result, I think it's far more reliable than saying, we're going to make a board game, and then feature creep starts coming in, and then costs rise and rise and rise. Like, oh, we're going to hit an expo, and suddenly they realize, oh, I spent $100,000 marketing an expo, and shit all happened, and oh, fuck, I'm out of money, and I had to contract this thing out because I actually couldn't do it, and so on and so forth. Video games are perhaps the most dangerous thing to kickstart, I think, because there are so many variables that could really screw something over, and you just have no idea how much a video game really costs to make and what kind of problems it's going to run into.
Well, it's kind of scary too. Like it kind of opened the door to let people, like that Skullgirls game. Everybody was like, "Why do they need $2 million for this?" And then everybody kind of realized, like, oh, it costs a lot of money to make this video game, and it's a lot of factors that we as the audience didn't know idea and no concept of where all this money goes and how it gets spent.
Oh yeah, the Skullgirls thing's a net positive for everybody because people got educated from that, and they learned exactly how much these characters cost to develop. And it was, that was legitimate. They were not asking for more money than they needed. That's how much it costs to make a fully animated 2D character that's hand-drawn.
Yeah, and they were very upfront about it. They were very much like, this is what we have to pay for this, this is what we have to pay for this. It was, you're right, it was a re-education. It was really nice.
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting. Oh, sorry, keep going.
No. Age before beauty.
I was just going to say that I think that it's really interesting when a Kickstarter that's been completed puts out like a list, like a spreadsheet of this is what we spent on everything and we used every dime and this is how we used it. And it's like, oh man, things cost so much more. And like there are always expenses that you would never even think of unless you're in that world.
Yeah,
and it taught a lot of people about the games that they had previously kickstarted for like $20,000. Where they're like, oh yeah, no, this is gonna be a great game. It's like you can't make like you're gonna get like a point and click adventure that's in like 8-bit graphics for $20,000. Like even that's pushing it. Like the people asking for no money to make a game, you now learned that those people just ripped your ass off because they are not ever gonna make that game, or it's already done and they wanted money. Like there's a lot of that too that I've seen where people are like, oh yeah, no, like we need help developing our game. The game already exists, and they just got extra money. It's like that is so messed up.
Yeah, right.
Kickstarter,
and early access.
Yep.
All right. Kickstarter versus early access. Which is worse? From the perspective of everyone in this room.
Oh, Kickstarter for me, because at least early access you have the product. At least you have something, even if it's a shitty version of it. At least you have something. Kickstarter is you are throwing money at a dream. Like, it doesn't. You are throwing money at nothing with the potential of getting something. At least with early access, you have shit, and if it's going to be shit, it'll still be shit. But at least you know you have it. You can hold it in your hands like this might be shit, but it's my shit. Like, at least you have it.
I have a counter argument. I actually believe that Kickstarter is more healthy than early access. I think that early access is worse. And there's a number of reasons for it. With Kickstarter, you're basically funding something that would never have existed without your kickstarting, yeah? So yes, you are taking a risk, but there's a reason for you to take that risk. With early access, the game is already in development, yeah? It's already well on its way. It could, in fact, get funding from other places, and yet you're being asked to take a risk anyway on something that may never, ever, ever finish. And not only that, but early access games right now, they sit in this place where they're in this immune to criticism bubble. They have plus 20 to criticism resistance, because it's like, oh, it's early access, you can't criticize that, it's not done yet. It's not done yet. And you could never be done. Like, there are games that basically right now, like you look at a game like Towns, for instance. Towns is a prime example, because this thing, I believe, was actually alpha funded before early access was a thing. It was alpha funded on Desura, yeah? And it got a lot of hype behind it because, hey, it's like Dwarf Fortress, but playable. So we're going to make that. And it got greenlit very quickly. It was in like the first couple of waves, I think. The last patch for that was in April of last year. The game's fucking busted. Like, and they have not done a damn thing since. All of the reviews on this game are not recommended, not recommended, not recommended, over and over and over again. Imagine a flaming dumpster being catapulted into a landfill full of oil-soaked tires. This game is shittier than that. There's one of the reviews there.
Oh my god,
it's pretty harsh.
And like that is even though that was not an early access game on Steam, that is a prime example of early access gone wrong. That was a game that was never finished, was pretty much abandoned, was released, and yet was a piece of crap. But people had thrown money at it anyway in the alpha, and that money is gone forever. And there's no getting it back. They were spending money on something that may very well never be done. And I can relate more to the idea of throwing money at a dream, because that was something that literally could not happen without that money, versus throwing money in an early access game, which is either going to fail or release, and you could just wait for the fucking release, and then you would know whether or not it was actually worthwhile.
Well, same thing applies for Kickstarter. You could wait until the product's done and then buy it and give them money that way.
Yeah, but what if they don't raise the money? Because then the product will never be done, right? That's the thing.
Well, then that's the invisible hand of the market, my friend. It wasn't wanted.
Which is fine.
No one wanted it.
And you know, then I'm okay with that. I'm all right with that. I think that's actually entirely reasonable. But I don't think that early access is reasonable, because that game is already well on its way. And what you're basically asking is to be drip-fed funds for a game that may never finish, and apparently doesn't even know what direction it's going in. I've said it before, Rust, which is currently selling ridiculous amounts because people are desperate for that fucking genre of game.
I do not understand that game. I cannot functionally wrap my mind around
I understand it. I understand it. You know, they want a Daisy-style game, and since Daisy isn't done yet, you know, they want to just jump on anything. And people jump on fucking anything that's like that, because the whole crafting survival game is a desperation genre. People are desperate to play a game like that, even though there's not a single one that's actually finished yet. And the whole description for that is bullshit. It's like, we are in very early development. Some things work, some things don't. We haven't entirely decided where the game is headed, so things will change. But you're selling it anyway. You don't even know what you're fucking doing with your own game, and you're selling it anyway. You're all right with that.
Could you make the argument that people being in the game will guide it toward a direction?
Yeah, that used to be called alpha, and it used to be free.
True.
You didn't used to have to pay for the privilege of it.
Very true.
Yeah, and I feel like with early access, like on the creator side, you're kind of like showing your hand before it's done. Like you're showing like your rough cut, and like for me experiencing that, like I don't think I'd be into that. Like I'm not really into like seeing a rough build. Like I wouldn't want to watch like a rough cut of a movie, because it may spoil like what I like about it. You know, it might just like taint forever. Like, oh man, it's like this, but man, it was really shitty before. You know, like I don't know if I want that in my brain as like experiencing like a piece of media. You know what I mean?
You could just burn out. You know, it's you're playing part of a game before the game's done, so your overall enjoyment of the game by the time that the game comes out is going to be lessened. I enjoyed the original Dawn of War. I beta tested this heavily, right? And I played a lot. I was actually playing at a fairly high level. I was playing with one of the guys that was eventually hired as a dev, We used to practice, and we discovered the fucking tier 3 Eldar rush tactic that completely broke the game, and that got fixed. We'll do all sorts of stuff like that. You know when it came out? I had no interest in playing the multiplayer because I'd already played it to death in the beta.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I feel like both really just inspire a bit of laziness in people. Even with Kickstarter saying that you're helping out with a dream, there's this sense of, well, now I don't need to risk my own money on my dream. I can risk other people's money on my dream without any consequences, without needing to give anything back to them. And I can just try it and see what happens. And I don't like that either. It's hard for me to choose which I think is worse, honestly.
And it's sad because, asked me that a year ago and I'd say both are amazing. Because at that point, I think I was on the same sort of train, and I still am to some degree, where publishers are evil. Publishers are stopping a new Descent game coming out, a new Free Space game coming out, a new Shadowrun game coming out, blah, 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 blah. All the games of my childhood. Apparently, they're not stopping a new Dungeon Keeper game coming out, but fuck, I wish they had. Anyway, and that thing was the train pit we're on, because there was we could take the power back from the publishers. And this is why Kickstarter was so successful. And they were right, they kind of could. But in doing so, they spawned something that's perhaps even more insidious, the idea of early access games. Because I'm sorry, you might think that big publishers are evil. Big publishers, they're in it for the business. Yeah, they are a business. They're beholden to their shareholders. They do things that make business sense. Indie game devs, they don't really know what the fuck they're doing most of the time. And they may do something inherently evil. They may do something incredibly stupid. And they just don't have as much experience as a big publisher does. And I know it sucks that EA is not publishing another proper Syndicate game or anything like that. That absolutely sucks. And that's why I backed Satellite Rain, because I wanted a real Syndicate game. But even though you might disagree with their reasoning, they are doing it for a reason that's fairly sound. And a lot of the stuff that indie devs do is not for a reason that's fairly sound. It's a very emotional kind of development. We're talking about, something like Indie Game the Movie, where Phil Fish says, if this game doesn't come out, I'm literally going to kill myself. And obviously Phil Fish is a kind of extreme example there, but these are as much artists as they are programmers. And artists have a tendency of getting very emotionally involved in that work, and it could deviate its direction very heavily in a way that you don't want it to.
It's true.
Yeah.
True that.
So basically what we're saying is stop giving money to stuff that isn't finished, for God's sake. There's plenty of great new games that are out for full price that are honest. Buy those. It really does disgust me. I'm sorry. I look at the top sellers list again. Rust and DayZ are the two top sellers. They've been there for weeks. Yeah. Under that, at least Don't Starve comes out there. And which is, funnily enough, a game that's
kind of similar, yeah.
It was, actually, yeah. But, Don't Starve was never early access, was it? They sold it as kind of a beta on their website, kind of like the Minecraft model. And that's an example of a game. Let me just make it clear. I'm not saying that every indie dev is Phil Fish and crazy, and I'm not saying that every early access game is a scam that's out to fuck you. Actually,
you
a lot
heard
of
it
them
here,
aren't.
folks. He is.
Yeah.
TotalBiscuit.
No, a lot of early access games are legit. Starbound is legit. Don't Starve was legit, and is actually a full game now, and that was a success. There's plenty of examples of success. What I'm saying is, why take the gamble when you have plenty of other options that are done?
Mm-hmm.
If you have limited money.
It almost plays on people's impatience. It's I just want to play it, and I'll play any form of it I can.
Yeah, exactly. It's even the same with EverQuest Next Landmark. It looks promising, but people jumped into that, and some people are sinking $100 to get the big pack of it when it's going to be a free-to-play game, which is what makes the whole thing hilarious that people are paying $100 for that. And even from a coverage standpoint, if I didn't get my copy free, I would have looked at it and you know what? I don't know if I'm willing to drop $100, and this is something I can actually make money from, And I think that, people are just desperate to play it in any form possible. And I think it's just because we've had, for years and years and years, we've relied on nothing more than what the company is showing us. Marketing material, trailers, We've been doubtful of whether or not reviews are legitimate. There's been so many rumors of people just being bought off to say things about games. And funnily enough, I think early access is a backlash against that. And I think that there are many positive aspects to being that transparent. But from a consumer protection standpoint, I look at it and all I'm seeing is a bunch of people getting suckered into buying stuff that's not done. And this, I cannot rationalize that. That just seems wrong to me.
What? Huh?
I can't say anything. I got distracted. I went to I went to go watch the like what was #1 and go see what was coming out, and then I saw there was a game called Murdered Soul Suspect.
Yeah,
and it looks just as silly as all the David Cage games, and I was like, I want this so badly. So I get distracted easily.
I thought for a second that maybe the call was about to be dropped because Jesse looked like he was going to say something. Nick looked like he was frozen, and TB suddenly went super blurry,
Pixely
and I was like, "Oh no!"
Yeah, it's fine. Someone pointed out in the chat, by the way, the delicious irony that the South Park game is available for pre-order after doing an entire episode on why pre-ordering is fucking stupid.
Yeah, I love it.
Yep.
Well, that's that. We should probably take a break, and when we come back, we'll go back to maybe a little bit more news and some releases. Why not? Let's do that, because that news turned into an hour-long discussion on Kickstarter, because why the fuck not? That's the Co-optional Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back after this break. Don't go anywhere, because you might miss things, and that would be bad.
That'd be sus.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Co-optional Podcast. I'd say the final hour begins, but it's more like the final 45 minutes, give or take. That's not soup,
that's
Dodger.
true.
I was about to say, that's not soup.
You're hiding it from the camera, but that's actually pasta. That's not soup at all.
It is. That is true.
You eat from a bowl of lies.
I forgot that this bowl says soup on it. It's my favorite one, though, because you can heat food up in it, and even though it's really hot, it's got the little handles, so you can, like, take it wherever you're going to eat, and you don't have to hold it like this and be like, ah.
It's pretty smart.
It's pretty smart,
guys.
Without a doubt, the worst.
We do occasionally talk about video games, after all.
Just the worst.
Oh, dear. Let's see if there's a little bit more news. I mean, you were talking about Murdered Soul Suspect, actually, before the break, which is... That game is also coming out on PlayStation 4, Xbox One. That one does look a little bit interesting, I gotta say.
Right? You play
What
as
is
the
it?
guy
I don't
who
know
was-
anything about it.
It's this should tell you. It's Murdered Soul Suspect, but Soul is Soul. So you're playing as the ghost of the guy who was murdered. Trying to figure out who killed you, basically. That's the plot. And I'm like,
Cool.
I'm totally in.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Which sounds a lot like Ghost Trick, but maybe not as interesting. Apparently, interesting. Yeah, it would. Funnily enough, I'm reading the article here. It was compared to Ghost Trick: Phantom Detective. The chief creative director or officer. Why'd you call it chief creative officer? That's a bit of a weird one. But an Airtight Game said he wasn't even aware of Ghost Trick when the development began. Well, that means that you don't play enough good games, sir. So go play Ghost Trick.
I'm just saying, to me it reeks of Deadly Premonition or early David Cage games. Like I hope it just gets silly. I hope there's witchcraft involved.
Apparently you've got to fight demons in it. There's actual combat involved. So that's a thing.
That's it. Perfect.
Yeah, apparently the gameplay is very different. So, I mean, again, I don't mind that. It's, hell, if they made a 3D Ghost Trick, I would probably be happy with that. But they'd never make a Ghost Trick as good as Ghost Trick, so there's no point in them trying that. So, I'm kind of glad there's combat elements and things like that in it. So, I mean, it's nice, again, that we're seeing, Square Enix actually publish some original IP for a change, so that's good. Mm-hmm. Totally cool with that.
Speaking of Square Enix, February 11th, guys. Get ready. Lightning returns February 11th.
Interesting. Airtight Games. Yeah, I wondered who they were. They made Dark Void, which could have been good. It had the potential to be good. It had a great soundtrack because it had Bear McCreary doing the sound, which was the same guy that did the music for Battlestar. Nice. So it was drums. You like drums? We got some fucking dramatic drums for you.
I feel like that's a worse criticism than just saying it was bad. To say it could have been good.
Oh, I mean, it had the potential. I mean, it was
fucked it up.
Yeah, I mean, you were in a jetpack. You had a fucking jetpack, yeah, and there was aliens and stuff, and it had a vertical cover system, which was interesting, and it just was not very good. Which is quite sad. Funnily enough, though, they made a spin-off title called Dark Void Zero, which was actually an 8-bit style game, which was really good. They did it in like the vein of Metroid, like the original 2D Metroids. It was good. Yeah. But, yeah. So, I hope that doesn't suck. They haven't really made too much else. They made Quantum Conundrum, which was the game where... You remember... Yeah, it was the one where you had to manipulate different elements, and John Delancey was voicing the professor, so it was basically Q, which was interesting enough.
That's cool.
Yeah, they haven't made anything that really blows my mind as of yet. They made 2 iOS games, one called Derp Bike,
Yep, that's it.
I should,
The winner.
I don't know if I can really trust them anymore, but oh god, it has a terrible. Why the fuck would they make this? Holy shit!
Everyone's got to start somewhere, TB.
But they didn't start. They made Dark Void 3 years before Dirt Bike.
Everyone has a dark moment where drugs and whores take a toll.
You want to talk about falling far? These are guys that were ex-FASA, right? As in, they were involved with Crimson Skies and MechWarrior and things like that, and even like old Shadowrun. And then they made a game called Dirt Bike. That's how far they fell.
Even Nicolas Cage got to eat, man. Even Nick Cage got to eat.
Every time you say it, I just like chuckle. I'm just like, that's so ridiculous and smart. No, I'm just kidding. Just ridiculous.
God, they must have made millions on that game.
Dirt Bike.
Oh,
right?
Dirt Bike, game of the year.
Fuck. Yeah, but Murdered Soul Suspect certainly looks interesting. It has been announced that it is coming to Xbox One and also to PlayStation 4 as well, which I'm fairly happy with. It's like, oh, great. So, I can actually get the games I want to play on a system that I want to play them on. The PS3 is getting a little bit on in years, even though they keep releasing great games for it. Yeah. I would like something to, run at a decent frame rate and decent resolution for a change. Which certainly
it was cracking me up the advertisements that Microsoft was putting out, like trade in your PS3 and get $100 off an Xbox One, and I was like, I'm not trade. Are you crazy?
You forget there's no games for your system right now.
There's so many good games for the PS3, and no.
And they're
games
still
for the
making
Xbox
them.
One. Are you
and
nuts?
hey, if you keep an eye on what was happening in the last generation, you wanted to hold on to your PS2. Thankfully, the PS3 is backwards compatible, so you get away with it. But some of the best games on the platform get released in its final years. You wanna keep a hold of that console.
Yeah. Please.
Yes.
Please.
Absolutely.
Please.
You certainly should.
Any other big news that exists this week? Is there any?
There's not really been a huge amount going on. There was apparently a leaked version of a leaked list of games that are coming to PlayStation Now initially, which is not that big. Like, apparently the beta has officially begun, and they've given access to a few games. So they gave access to the beta testers for Killzone 3, Puppeteer, Shadow of the Colossus, and also a few other games, like third-party stuff like Ninja Gaiden 3. Wow, that's a bit of a punishment, isn't it? Sorry about that. Disgaea 4, Darksiders 2, Papo and Yo, Shatter, and MX vs. ATV Alive.
The best one there is Shadow of the Colossus. That's the real one to pick up if you're gonna play that.
Game's so good.
I don't know if you want to play the HD Shadow of the Colossus with a streaming box, though.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine the artifacts that would ruin the visuals of that game. Because I imagine that there's this game that is very washed out in terms of its aesthetic. I can only imagine it's very easy to see the blocks with that much washed out light. So I don't know. Puppeteer would be the same, because Puppeteer is a gorgeous game. Actually, I bought a copy of it. I didn't play it, but I gave it to Kiddo, and he played the whole thing through, and he was enthralled by it. And I watched it. It's like, this is a beautiful looking game. It's a gorgeous looking game. I don't know if you could really get away with the streaming, but it's nice that they picked some fairly high fidelity games to test.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more interested, I think, in just streaming PS2 games on it, I suppose. Like, I don't see a reason for me to throw away my PS3. I don't think that's...
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep a hold of it, and I can just play my games on that. Eventually, they might... I do wonder, though, because this is the first generation of consoles where we've had a digital library, all right? We didn't have that with PS2 or anything like that. When do they decide to turn that shit off?
Yeah. When does that go away? That's a great question.
Yeah. When does that go away? I'm curious, because I got like 30, 40 digital games on the PS3. When does that disappear? When does it become the case that holding onto my PS3 won't work anymore because a lot of the games I want to play were digital, and maybe I have to get secondhand copies of, the Blu-ray version? When does that happen?
Are they not directly connected to your PlayStation network, so you could just put them on your new console?
No.
Well, you can't play them.
that?
You can't play them on your new console because they're not backwards compatible. So you could.
Even though they're digital, that's so stupid.
Right now, yeah, even digital. Right now on the PlayStation store, if you're using a PS4, there's literally 14 games total.
Yeah, there's
and
not
they have to be for PS4. They don't even show you games that you could have bought on a PS3. They aren't even listed.
Yeah, of course, because you can't play them. I think the only way around it, the way that I see it going, maybe, is that they translate it to PlayStation Now, like 5 years down the line. Say, oh, your PS3 library is now available on Now. And I'm pretty sure that's what they're aiming for. Admittedly, I have to wonder if they would even do it, because we thought about it, and it's like, well, are they going to allow us access to our old digital games through Now and to stream to our PS4 eventually? Is that how it's going to be, or are they going to make us buy them again? You know? That's...
Probably have to buy them again, yeah.
Probably. But that's
so
a weird thing to
irritating.
say, isn't it? You know, because we think about Steam and GOG and things like that, and with Steam, it's like, oh, well, what happens if Valve goes under? Well, you know, they're not going to. But what happens if they do? What happens with the games? Well, it's still the same platform. So as long as they unlock the DRM, you can keep them forever. But this is not the same platform. This is an older platform that eventually, I have to assume, they will discontinue online support for. And when they do that, what happens to your digital games? I wonder.
And at least it's really interesting because with both PS4 and Xbox One, and especially with Xbox One, because achievements, all of them are connected. So even if you have Windows 8, if you have Windows 8 games, the achievements show up on your Xbox One account. So it's all tied in together. So they still want you to show off the fact that you played stuff on other systems. You just can't play it on this one. And PlayStation's just like that. They still give you credit for things you've done in the past, but if you want to go play it again, you have to either own the other system. Like, it's really interesting that they want you to remember the good times you had, but
don't let you actually have them again.
Yeah, but not relive them.
It's a really odd situation, and it's a new one. It's a unique one. It hasn't, this is the first time we're encountering this, because previously it's just been a case of, oh, all right, well, they're all disc-based games anyway, so you keep your old system, you keep your old discs, no problem. And maybe the first few iterations of the system are backwards compatible, like with the old PS3, and I mean, I'd say with the 360, but like the backwards compatibility for that was pretty piss weak to begin with. And now it's strange, because I don't know where that's going. I mean, I imagine it's going to be a number of years before it even becomes a factor, but it's a strange
there's still
one.
something to consider when you're faced with that. Do I buy this digitally, or do I buy like a hard copy of it? You know, it's and what the fuck are you gonna do? It's like
I don't know.
What are you gonna do down the line? You're just gonna have to you're probably just gonna have to rebuy it again, which fucking sucks.
Yeah. And there's a strange one. Aside from that, I guess there's Steam Music. We could maybe talk about that.
Sure, why not?
Yep.
It's a thing. It's
Hey, guess
nice,
what? There's Steam Music. It's crazy. It's got a music note in front of purple.
Yeah, basically, it is a limited beta feature of SteamOS and Big Picture mode with a desktop interface to follow, because that's fucking useful. Beta participants will be randomly selected. Basically, it lets you listen to your music collection while you play games. What an interesting and unique thing that you've been able to do with a PC for the past 20 fucking years.
Can't you do that already?
That is the most pointless thing I've ever heard. And you know what? People are going to go apeshit over it because it's fucking Steam. Oh, I can listen to my music. I have a copy of Winamp that's existed for the past 15 years that's been able to do that. Well, I mean, the reason I suppose it's kind of a bigger deal is because of Big Picture, right? Because they're probably making an interface that's easier to use on a TV. Yeah. The fact that they're making a desktop client for this is kind of hilarious because it serves no purpose. But with, I don't know, maybe they'll give you achievements for listening to shit and fucking stickers and cards. That's probably why.
You listen to Van Halen fucking 1. Good job. Or fucking, that's so ridiculous. Oh my god! You unlocked the David Lee Roth achievement. Way to go! That's so ridiculous.
Yeah, it is most likely because of the Steambox thing. They just want to allow that to happen and make the interface easier. Because fiddling around with Winamp I can't imagine how terrible that would be. Like the tiny Winamp interface and the Steam controller. It's like, I want this song. No. I found Miley Cyrus. I'm not sure why this was on the list, but yeah. That I can certainly see the usefulness for that. But the desktop client is like,
the only way I can see this being interesting is if it hosts your music on their cloud or their servers and stuff, so you can bring your music. I mean, but even that isn't even a revolutionary feature. You can do that
that's
already.
An old thing.
No, streaming games, that's a big deal because they're saying, work with in-house streaming. It's like, yeah. So let me tell you about actually, it might have been 1999 when I streamed audio on my 56K modem. That's been around for a while. That is not something that I was incapable of doing previous. And even the thing is, like, talking about streaming music around your house, there are 1,000,000,001 devices that currently do that. That's old hat. You know, I guess it's not too much for them to develop, but it's certainly not worth getting excited over.
Yeah, I don't know why that's whatever. I don't get it. Like many things Steam has done lately, I don't get it.
It's not meant
Valve,
for Jesse Cox.
Valve, I love you, but I don't get what you're doing. You're making moves that would have impressed the hell out of me in 1999. But right now, I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
I love you to death, but it's like they're trying to get on that like the do more train. Like, we're gonna be like Amazon and do everything. Like, you don't need to do that. Just do the one thing that's you. Be good at you. Be good at you guys.
Good at you.
That's a nice little motivational little quote there. I like that.
Be good at you.
Yeah, that's a Disney quote.
That's what Frozen was about. Be good at you.
That was the hit song from Frozen.
Yeah.
Yep. My version had like hot snow chicks in it though. That's what. Yep.
I love
It's like snow nymphs everywhere.
Yeah. Oh, snow nymphs
Just
everywhere.
Like, boobs.
That just seems really inconvenient.
You know what's really nice is now you can play your Frozen soundtrack while you play
Holy
your game,
shit!
Wow!
What?
How do you
Only
do
I had a
that?
CD player, like the one I owned in 1994.
Oh my
Oh,
god!
if only.
Let's talk about new releases, shall we?
Okay. Kucha.
New releases. You like that? You guys can use that.
New releases here on 97.5. The Badger. The Badger.
Oh, I have to wait
Badger.
for 2 different games before I get to the one I'm thinking of. Okay.
You know
Sun
what?
at Night for PC came out today.
The Sun at Night. What is that?
I don't know.
Hold on, I gotta look this up.
It's okay.
Something
Don't worry,
gaggle.
I've got it. An alternate history of Laika, the Soviet space dog who became the first animal to orbit Earth in 1957. Rather than dying mid-flight, she returns to Earth as a cyborg with the gift of speech. I'm all over this shit.
What?
Right now. It's
That
an
game's gonna
action-adventure
turn into
platformer
Awesome.
involving
I
a
was gonna say,
space
It
dog.
sounded real boring, and then it got real great.
Yeah, that's the only information I got about it. That's it. Let me buy the special edition right now. Like, it comes with an actual cyborg dog, like a modified Aibo. Just give it to me.
Sign me up. Early access. All right. Put it on my Steam.
access.
I'm kickstarting that shit. What do you mean it's done?
Kickstart it.
Unfortunately, it looks like a Flash game, which is.
Are we
I don't
signing?
care.
Sign me up.
It was
don't care.
on Greenlight. It was on
Access.
Greenlight. I love
don't
a
care.
lot of stuff on Greenlight, but most of it is garbage.
I don't
But
care.
The Sun at Night.
Sun at Night.
Good premise.
Yeah.
Next up is Hyper Crazy Climber for PlayStation 3 Network.
Which was actually an import. Like, it was on PS1, but if I recall correctly, it never came out originally in Western territories. Which is a bit of a weird one.
Next one, which is the one I was thinking of, The Wolf Among Us Episode 2!
Yay! Finally!
For PC, Mac, PlayStation 3 Network, and
overrated.
Xbox. Oh, come on. I'm so excited to play it.
The term overrated is just the dumbest thing. It's like, stop liking this as much as you do. It's like,
Why do you like that thing?
why do you like that thing as much as that? You should like it less. Like, go fuck yourself. But, yes, seriously.
Yes.
The Wolf Among Us, I'll be playing that after this show, because I've been waiting months for that. And I will
I'll
never,
play it
ever
after
buy an
all the
episodic
podcasts.
game again.
Next one is Adam's Venture Chronicles for PlayStation 3 Network.
Which is, there were a series of games called Adam's Venture. That was actually real, and it's a compilation of them that's been ported to PS3, and that's it.
Perfect.
Looks okay.
Pretty much.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Dust Force for PlayStation
Yeah,
Vita
great game.
and PlayStation 3 Network.
Dust Force is amazing. It's a really, really good game. Came out on PC like a year ago, I think, so... PS3 is getting a bit late, but for Vita, yeah, I can see myself playing that on Vita. That's a good Vita game.
I need more Vita games. Surge Deluxe for PlayStation Network Vita.
Okay. What is
Anyone want to
Surge?
gaggle that?
It is an enhanced and
gaggling.
colorblind friendly version of Future Lab's block matching game, thanks to Giant Bomb's database for this, by the way, featuring additional mechanics and revised scoring system. So it's a block matching game.
Okay. Surge Deluxe block matching. Outlast for PlayStation 4.
There's a game.
There's about 2 hours of a good game in there.
Well, it's a game for PS4, which is not something you generally see.
There you go.
That's true.
Yep.
That is true. King Oddball for PlayStation Network Vita.
Physics-based puzzle game. You control the monstrous King Oddball in his quest to demolish anything in his path using boulders hurled with his tongue.
Nice.
King Oddball.
King Oddball.
That was
Next is Truck Racer. PlayStation
PS2
3
classic.
Network.
Yep. Couple of PS2 classics actually there. They got Trapped in there as well.
I was just about to say Trapped is next, and that's another PlayStation 2 game.
Yeah, have you played Trapped?
No.
It was weird. It's very, very strange.
Yeah.
It was really, really quite strange. But it was a kind of hybrid between a third-person action game and a strategy game where you set up obstacles and traps to murder people in horrible ways. Perfect. But it's also fucking awful. So that's the main problem with it. Like, it is broken as all arse. It's got terrible AI and all sorts of things like that. So maybe they fixed it, but they probably didn't. So don't buy it.
Oh my god, this next game, Gex Enter the Gecko, that's an old game.
PS1 classic for PS3, yeah. That was in 3D though, wasn't it? Oh god, it is.
Yeah, it's
old 3D. Like if it was, because wasn't that the third Gex game? Because there were two.
It wasn't. There were more Gex games than just that.
Yeah, because the original was a 2D game, I think, and that was pretty good, but. The PS1 3D. No. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I can't do it.
Put on your glasses, kids. It's gonna be a good one. And Fable Anniversary for Xbox 360.
Which is currently getting mixed reviews. I mean, they made it look better, obviously. Let's try and find out why people are not necessarily digging this. Because you'd think, oh, it's Fable. I mean, the original Fable was pretty good. So what's wrong with it? Apparently it's not a very good graphical update, and they didn't add shit. They just put smart glass integration and achievements in it. No new content.
Okay. Alrighty.
Holy shit.
What?
Nothing. I desperately want us to move on to one of the games coming up here.
Okay.
I think it might be the next one.
Bravely Default.
Yes.
3DS. That we're starting the February 7th lineup, by the way.
Oh, all right. Can I just
That's
say,
fine.
for the record, it amuses me to no end to see all the people really hyped about this game and see the reviews that are like, this is it. One review, and I quote, Bravely Default proves that the old school JRPG is dead. Like,
Oh man.
like I mean,
Wow.
I keep looking for reviews of this game, and everyone I found so far has been really negative, and everyone I know is like, you have to fucking play it, dude, it's the best. And I'm like, I don't know what to think right now, because
reviews-wise, it's got good reviews from a lot of places, but the thing is that the people who have given it good reviews, none of them are actually reputable. Like, if we were to go, if we were to visit some, like, game rankings on Metacritic or whatever, you'll see, like, the top reviews are from people like Hardcore Gamer Magazine, Gameblog.fr, Multiplayer.it, which is an Italian website, ZTGD, which I don't even know, Impulse Gamer 3D Juegos, Vandal Online, Mirror Station. It's like the only kind of reputable organization that seems to have given it a ridiculously high mark is probably US Gamer, which is the US spin-off of Eurogamer.
Yeah.
Which is
like
there's a lot
strange.
of 80s, like a lot of like we'll get some B's, which is fine, but I like the hype is through the roof on this thing, and I cannot figure out why. I guess I don't know.
Well,
I have no clue.
It is a kind of a more traditional JRPG, and apparently, like, if you like old school JRPGs, it really does the job. That's what I'm hearing from most people. But if you don't like old school JRPGs, this is not going to make you like
Then don't play it. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It really does seem like, because JRPG has funnily become it's become a niche genre. You know, it's not the days of Final Fantasy VII anymore, where JRPGs were just like they were mainstream genre in the West. They're very much now more of a niche genre, and they're for enthusiasts. And some people like JRPGs. And that's cool, I guess.
Yeah. Dude, I don't have time for that.
No, I don't either.
Zero time to invest 100 hours into a game like that.
Yeah. Last time I did that was with Persona 4, and that game is exceptional. And I don't think... I mean, I look at Bravely Default and I'm like, yeah, I'll probably enjoy it for a while, but I don't have the time to get through all of it. That seems...
Here's the like when people say in chat like it's the JRPG we've been waiting for since like Dragon Quest 9. It's some of those games I didn't like, guys. I'll be real honest with you. Like
I love Dragon Quest 8. I absolutely adored it, but Dragon Quest 8 also had a very good sense of humor, which I think Bravely Default probably doesn't.
Yeah, people are like it's the best Final Fantasy in a long time. Like I'll be the judge of that. That's saying like it's better than shit. Well, yeah, of course. I mean,
well, I should certainly hope so.
Indeed.
I don't know.
Oh God, where were we? Oh, Bravely Default.
Yes.
Next up is Jazz Punk for PC.
That is a game with pigeons in it.
It's also a game that looks really silly, and I don't understand it at all.
Okay, so I played it for about 25 minutes at PAX. It reminded me of a much, much sillier and longer version of Gravity Bone and 30 Flights of Lovin'. I don't know if you've played any of those, but it's one of those very strange, esoteric kind of comedy exploration games with some puzzle elements. And it's very hard to explain. But what I played of it made me laugh. I will say that. What I played of it made me laugh. There are pigeons and mind control rays, and it's colorful and silly. And I am looking forward to playing the whole thing through because I have a feeling I might enjoy it. I actually have a review code for that, so I could very easily do that in the next couple of days.
I went and looked it up and was like, this looks just silly shit.
Oh,
even the trailer is just a live action trailer, and it's just very strange. I'm like, this is kind of humor that I would probably enjoy.
It is very difficult to explain. Like, even if you go to the Jazz Punk page, the game's out on February 7th. I'll try and get my video up before that. What you'll see is stereographic polygon soundio, now in color vision. A cast of over 360,000 polygons working in concert. For the first time ever, the human voice captured and preserved in cryosonic stasis, thawed before your very ears during NPC experiences. Over half a dozen jokes. You know, it's... That's, yeah.
So many jokes.
Yeah. From what I can tell, it seems like it's probably about a 3-hour experience. Because people got into the early access and did it, and like all the reviews say like 2.5 hours on record, 3 hours on record, so that indicates it's about a 3-hour game. But yeah, I'm sort of looking forward to playing that. I think I'll do that tomorrow. Actually, that sounds like a good time to do it.
The Lego Movie video game.
Oh fuck.
For everything. It's a list for all platforms.
Who's
Lego
making
Movie
it? Is it coming from the guys that don't suck? Yeah. It's being developed by TT Games, who are the guys that do all of the Lego games. So good, because they'll probably be all right then. Because have they ever made a bad Lego game? Like, has that company ever made a bad Lego game?
I've never played one that they've made that I haven't enjoyed.
There's some that aren't nearly as fun. Like the Lord of the Rings one is
I
not
was
nearly as fun as Like
some people really like the Lord of the Rings one.
You know what's really weird about the Lord of the Rings one? Like the Star Wars ones were, they didn't like voice act it. They just like mimed everything and made like noises and stuff, so it was like cute. And then in Lord of the Rings, they were like, you know, they're doing like, you shall not pass, and they're doing actual dialogue from the movie. So that was like a weird kind of thing for me. I was like, what the hell is this? Yeah. I feel like it loses like the cuteness of it and loses like the, you know, now I'm just watching like Legos give dramatic performances. Like,
yes.
That's not
fun. Like,
Yeah.
That makes sense.
You may be right. I definitely think like putting the voice acting in did actually make the games weaker. I remember the original Star Wars Lego where it opened up and, you know, they did the scene with the destruction of the Republic ship in the hangar, and then but the whole thing just falls apart, and the pilots are still there, kind of looking at each other, and then they kind of fall coincide. And that's when I realized, yeah, okay, I see what they're trying to do here, and they pulled it off well. But as you said, when they actually added the voice acting in, I do think it took away from that humor significantly. It's still there, but it's not as good. You know, because you shouldn't have to spell that stuff out. You can show it. You know, it's very visual comedy. I think
February
that's it,
11th.
Here's my day, y'all.
February 11th is too far forward. We'll do that. We'll do that next week. Maybe.
Like no sir.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that.
Wait, can I just say 2 from February 11th that I'm excited about?
Fine.
I'll say Lightning Returns for Jesse.
Thank you. That game is going to be
Final Fantasy.
awful. I can't wait to play it.
Danganronpa for me, because I've been waiting for that to be imported for so long.
I'm sorry, what is that?
Danganronpa. Ace Attorney meets action and rhythm games with a plot resembling Battle Royale in this high-speed detective action game.
Oh, shut the fuck up. Of course
I watched the whole anime, and then the end of the anime was awful, and I was like, no, now I'm not excited for the game. And then everybody told me that the ending of the game is different from the anime, and I was like, and now I'm so excited for it to come out again.
Yeah, this game's actually 3 years old, by the way. The game's actually 3 years old. It's only now.
I know,
coming
it's
out.
old. We haven't gotten it, but I think enough people were really into the anime that they were like, oh, okay, here.
I like the idea behind it. I mean, I'm not into the anime aspects of it, but the actual game mechanics sound interesting. So it's like Ace Attorney meets a high-speed rhythm game with detective elements. Sounds like the kind of thing I'd dig. So
yeah.
Apparently, the game name translates directly to Bullet Arguing Down, Academy of Hope and High School Students of Despair. and for this and many other reasons, we say, fuck anime.
Yeah.
Fucking anime. Yeah, I'll buy that. That does look good.
I'm so happy.
Yeah, the anime aspects I don't care about, but that sounds like a really nice combination of mechanics that I think I would dig. Cool.
Sounds interesting.
Those are your releases, everybody. Enjoy playing video games.
The video games, pretty much.
The video games.
Yep. I'm into that. Sounds good. Someone just mentioned the Danganronpa thread on Something Awful. So, Danganronpa was being Let's Played on Something Awful, and it was one of the most popular Let's Plays that's been done on that in a very long time. But apparently, it also caused some very interesting issues, because those of you who don't know about Something Awful, it's a forum you have to register $10 to post on. But what they also do, every now and again, is they cycle the number of forums which are publicly viewable, which includes the Let's Play forum. So apparently, Danganronpa attracted this kind of huge Tumblr following that was going to read it, and then they cycled the forum, and Tumblr went fucking nuts because they couldn't read Danganronpa anymore, and apparently they was going crazy about that.
Love it.
And of course, you know, the guys at Something Awful absolutely loved the fact that happened. You know, it's like that's perfect. Mm-hmm. But I just found that amusing. Yeah, apparently that one was extremely, extremely popular over on the SALP forum. Is that actually Did they finish that now? Oh no,
they're the game?
Holy shit! Sorry, I'm just looking at they're looking at Super Danganronpa 2 is the one that Let's playing right now. The thread has holy fuck 9 million views.
Whoa!
I don't think there's a single game in the Let's Play forum that has anywhere close to that number. Not even close. Wow.
I don't.
Yeah, guys, Danganronpa! Raise the roof, raise the roof, raise the roof!
Fuck. That's... Wow. Huh.
Nope. Nope.
Jesus Christ.
I feel bad for everyone who is watching that. I feel bad for people playing it. I feel bad. I just feel bad for Something Awful. I feel bad for all of them. Everyone involved, I feel bad for.
Never feel bad for Something Awful. Never do that. Yeah, apparently the thread had been locked out a billion times because people just registered solely to post in the Danganronpa thread. And they hadn't read, they didn't understand what Something Awful was or how to post there. No. It's like, you didn't lurk for 2 years, you know, of all people needs to be saying that because I fucked up royally on my first time in SA. But, yeah, it's... Apparently, it caused the thread to be locked multiple times. Like, they were considering maybe even just, banning Danganronpa entirely. For the longest time, they banned Pokemon LPs, because they had kind of similar problems, and everyone did really bad Pokemon LPs. So, naming their Pokemon and voice acting their Pokemon, I was like, fuck that, that's terrible. But, yeah.
I think of doing that. I gotta play me some Pokemon.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you should do that. You voice act your characters in fucking Long Live the Queen.
And really good voices. I'm a professional.
Oh my. Alright, well, we've got about 10 minutes left. What should we do with those 10 minutes? Does anyone have a burning topic that they wish to discuss? Because I kind of did my burning topic earlier with Dungeon Keeper, so I feel like someone else should get to do that.
It's true.
Guys, how excited are you for the Lego movie? Let's talk about that, man.
I'm gonna have to go and see it.
I'm totally gonna see it.
My kid wants to see it, and I'm probably gonna hate it.
Yeah. I'll probably... Here's the thing, though.
It looks so cute.
They know how to get an adult to the movie.
Yeah.
Because the whole, like they were like, let's fucking throw in Batman. Why not? I'm like, I'm there now.
Yeah.
And Will Arnett, I was like... I'm in.
Yeah, Will Arnett should be Batman. I'm sold. You have my ticket.
Yeah. I'll probably enjoy it more than I want to let on. I've got to be honest.
Oh, yeah. It'll be fun.
It feels the same way. I mean, a lot of it doesn't. A lot of it feels like there's a little bit of try-hardedness in there. Like, we're going to make this really fucking hip. But a lot of it has the same feeling of, oh my God, Wreck-It Ralph, where there's a lot of nostalgia-based humor in there.
Yeah.
That I'm like, all right, I'll go see you because you had the spaceman that I had when I was a kid with this little awful helmet that keep coming. Like, all right, I'm in. I'll watch you.
And there's even like random things that kids are going to see that movie and they're not going to understand the Wonder Woman Invisible Jet joke.
Invisible Jet, yeah.
I mean, that's a reference kind of for us, but
I don't know if they won't. I mean,
you'd still get it. Right?
They did several more modern Justice League things that probably did the same thing with Wonder Woman, right?
They have the Invisible Jet nose, were they?
I assume so. I mean, that was kind of an iconic part of the character. They wouldn't get rid of the Invisible Jet, right?
Didn't they give her like flying powers or some bogus shit?
Really?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Like, she used to have Invisible Jet, and now they're like, nah.
I'm looking up the Wikipedia article on the Invisible Plane.
Fly. It's whatever.
Oh, wow. Gremlins on the Invisible Plane. That's...
Oh.
Came in, 1942 was when they actually put the Invisible Plane in there.
Chat saying that Wonder Woman can fly now. I thought they got rid of the jet, yeah.
Did they really get rid of the jet?
Over the years, they keep changing her. Like, her lasso... Like, its powers change from just getting people to tell the truth. Now it does all sorts of wacky shit. Like, I feel like things, times change, man. Times change.
Yeah, so post-crisis version in the DC universe, she can fly regardless of wind currents and has little need for the invisible plane.
Wow.
God damn it.
Yep. So
living in a post-crisis world, guys. It's scary out there.
That we are.
Yes, the jet is goofy, but it's funny, and so things like that. I think those jokes will go over well with adults, and I enjoy that a lot. That I actually go back now and watch old movies, like old cartoons and things. So I'm like, were they like this when we were younger, where they pandered to adults as well? Were they? And a lot of times they really were. I was like, holy shit. Was that a sex joke that
there's plenty of double entendres in a lot of that stuff.
That happens all the time. Yeah, when I go back and watch movies, I'm like, whoa! Did not know that was there.
Yeah. So
there's jokes that you just miss. Like when I was a kid, I would watch like Spaceballs like nonstop. Like I probably like broke it in our VCR, and then like I watched it recently, and they talk about like transforming the spaceship into the maid thing, and then he says "Ready Kafka," and I'm like, that's the smartest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life.
You're like, shut up. That is, going back and watching old movies that you watched as a kid, you see things you're like, I did not know that was in there. And that's really, really funny. Like, that's a funny-ass joke. And it's like, I would never have laughed at that before. Like,
that's so smart.
I get you.
Because I thought that, for the longest time, I thought that was a new thing. Like, it's like, well, we need to get adults to at least enjoy it, so let's throw in some humor. Like, sort of like around, like, when the first Shrek came out, kind of.
Yeah.
But apparently, I just never had a clue. Because when you're younger, I guess you just don't notice. And so, like, even someone in chat mentioned Rocko's Modern Life.
Oh,
dude,
yeah.
Go back and watch old Nickelodeon cartoons. They are, like, made for adults. Just like, holy shit.
Oh, yeah.
It's true. It's so true.
So that's my thoughts on that.
Fair enough. To be fair, it can't be worse than all the other movies that are currently out. Because they're all bad. Shit. Like, they really are. If you go look at a list of movies, they're all terrible. I mean, things that are out right now. I, Frankenstein, which is apparently fucking awful. Devil's Due.
Oh my god, it was
moment.
so bad.
Jack Ryan Shadow.
You saw it?
I slept through, like, most of it, and I can still say that it was bad.
You saw it? Who? How did you get talked into that? I would have been like, look, here's the plot. It's shit. There we go. We're not going.
Dude, Aaron Eckhart can't even sell me on that movie. How did you decide on that?
Well, Sam and I were like, we should go see a movie. And he was looking at what movies were available. And he was like, Frankenstein. And I was like, oh, hell yeah.
I'm not judging you guys, but I feel like you're at the point in your relationship where you just need to just split up. Like, if that's what you're doing, it's time to break up. So what do you want to do tonight? We can go see a movie.
I guess we can go see a terrible movie.
You're missing the part where we high-fived. We were like, Frankenstein.
And then you horribly regretted it.
I mean, I did sleep through most of it.
Yeah.
I will admit that.
We had December, which was...
It's pretty great.
I mean, come on, we had December where the good stuff came out, like Desolation of Smog, like Wolf of Wall Street, American Hustle, Saving Mr. Banks. And then we have January, which is just a month of complete bullshit. Like, not a single good movie was released in January, not one.
Vampire Academy comes out in 3 days.
Oh my god.
That's another fucking terrible movie that I can't wait to see.
Here's the thing, though, and I will give Vampire Academy a little credit. In the trailer for the movie, I was like, this looks like shit, but it looks okay shit. The things they're showing on TV make it look just really, really bad. I was like, if you're not selling this very well. You're actually doing a very bad job of this. At least try and get plot. And they're like, no vampires. And you have to stop an even worse vampire coming this week. Watch vampires.
The sexiness in the vampire school and so
they're all
God.
They're all barely legal.
It really is fucking perverse. Like, I gotta be honest. It was like, it's clearly aiming for that kind of teenage demographic, but you know there's gonna be like some 45-year-old men going to watch that. Like,
it's the same people that made Mean Girls, so I'm like really hoping that there's like some hidden gems in this movie.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like the trailer had that Mean Girls vibe of like, it's playful, it's cute, like you know, there's a message underneath all of it, and the commercials are like, watch this blonde chick kiss this other chick, and then there's a girl with dark hair, and she's sassy. She also kills people, and they're fucking vampires. It's like, it's the shittiest thing I've ever seen.
Can't wait. It's gonna be good shit, guys.
I need to see The Wolf of Wall Street before it goes off. I mean, it probably already has gone off, so I might have to wait for the fucking movie. Can I say, by the way, I am fucking sick of Amazon Instant Videos bullshit. So... I defended them for the longest time, saying, you know, they're a really good service. You know, I'll happily rent a movie for like $3 or $4 and watch it, and that's fine for me because I don't want to buy it. But now what they're doing is they don't tell you before you click the movie whether or not it's buy only or buy and rent. So that means you see all these new movies like, oh great, oh yeah, I want to see this, I want to see this. Which one will I choose first? And it's like, buy $20, buy $20, $20. Like, no, don't list them along with the rentals. Then why can't I filter that? And
that's weird.
Yeah.
Speaking of reverse Vampire Academy, I for the longest time
hang on a minute.
Who was talking about reverse?
Nobody was saying anything of the sort.
I'm gonna like reverse the way they're selling it. Since I didn't see it, I can say whatever the hell I want. But I guess a few weeks ago there was a special screening of RoboCop, and everyone who went was like, "Holy shit, dude! Holy fucking shit!" And I think it looks terrible, but apparently it's really good.
No, it's no way it's good. There is no way it's fucking good. Anyone that went to say that.
That's what I'm saying.
Here's the thing about.
It's terrible.
Here's the thing about.
It's awful.
Here's the thing about seeing early screenings and shit like that. People get taken away in the fact that they're doing something exclusive, right? Yeah. So
all right.
And basically, you know, they're psychologically sort of bent towards the idea. They probably got free shit while they were there. You know, they got treated like royalty. It's the same idea as those dodgy preview events that people get sent to with video games. There's no way that RoboCop is good. It's impossible. Like, you look at the content of that movie, you compare it to the original movie, and you see the entire soul of the original movie has been sucked out in every possible respect.
The other day, we all got together and watched the original RoboCop, and I forgot how fucking fantastic that movie is.
It's
my
brilliant.
favorite part. I don't want to make any. Look, if you haven't seen RoboCop, you're
oh, come on! You can spoil RoboCop. Come on.
The end of the movie when the friend of like the guy who gets killed by that 70s show guy dad in his house when he has like the hookers over, like that guy, when his friend at the end, when RoboCop comes into the office building and shoots the bad guy out through the window, the his friend looks over to RoboCop and just gives him like this. It's so fucking funny. Out of nowhere, it's just they like cut to this guy and he's like, "Good job, RoboCop," and that's like how the movie ends. And it's like, this is the best '80s movie that ever existed.
It's
like,
got such a good sense of humor, man. That's that Paul Verhoeven shit, man. Like he did that in like Star Trek Troopers, and he's just like, "Well, I've made my masterpieces. Good night."
Yeah, see ya.
That's actually one of the best parts of the movie that I guarantee would not be in the new one, is the way they sell the world isn't by like showing the world, it's by showing TV commercials from that time. Yeah. And so it's like that's like the guy's like, "I'd buy that for $1." Like that's what I like. All of it's great. All
it's
the commercials
so good, man.
are hilarious.
The world building is fantastic, and they do it, and it's all tongue in cheek. It's all very dark. It satirizes many things. Like, what the fuck do you really? What is this satirizing? Bad remakes? I mean, come on. It takes everything out of it.
I'm interested to see like what the tone is with that. Like if it's just an action movie, like they made 2 other RoboCops. That's what that's for. Like the whole point of like the first RoboCop is that it was like a parody of this ridiculousness, and I hope I hope that element's in there,
Even the violence was a parody. Like when a dude gets shot and just repeatedly, like, it's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, they use blood squibs in that more than anything else. And I think Slow Beef in the chat's point is valid. Remake the other 2 because they sucked.
Yeah.
Don't remake the first one, all right? Because by the time it was getting to number 3, the strange thing about it was that it was obviously it was a very R-rated movie, very R-rated, incredibly violent. And I mean, for fuck's sake, he shoots a rapist in the dick. Where the first scene where he's being like gunned down by the gangsters is brutal.
His hand blows off.
And like they're deliberately torturing him. Like it's not just someone gets shot in the head; they're deliberately shooting off pieces of his body. It is gross. But for some reason, RoboCop was marketed towards kids in the sense that like there were action figures and everything, and that meant that the movies moved towards that. When the third RoboCop came out, I mean, for fuck's sake, he had a jetpack, and he was like,
I was just gonna say, dude, he
was like saving the church and shit like that. It was basically a kids movie by that point. But the original RoboCop was not intended to be that.
No, it became
everything about the original RoboCop is great. Like even the fact that the I can't remember what the ED whatever the robot was.
209.
The walker thing. Like RoboCop runs like goes down the stairs and the thing can't go down the stairs. It like is just like
defeated
like
by
doesn't
stairs.
know what to do. It's hilarious. It's fantastic.
And they're all driving around Ford Tauruses. It's so good. The future's gonna be great, guys. It's gonna be a great future.
The one guy who becomes a mutant because he hits the chemical spill.
Oh my god!
And he's like,
and then he just gets smashed because they just run him over in a car and he just explodes.
Yeah, I'm watching RoboCop tonight. That's what's happening as soon as
the original RoboCop is on Netflix and it's fantastic.
So
done and done.
But there's no way in a million years the remake's going to be good. It's not going to happen. Anyone that's told you it was good was fucking lying to you. It's impossible.
That's why I'm like, I think now I have to at least go see it. Even if it's going to be crap, I need to know for myself how bad it is. I need to know how bad it is.
I think I'm going to a screening next week, like this press screening. So I think if I don't have to pay for it, I'll definitely see it. Like in theater, you know what I mean? I'll give it a shot. I'll go. I'll be the test subject. I'll let you guys know. And then we'll put the debate.
We can't trust you to be honest, man. You're going to be pampered over there. Yes,
sell out.
I'll be wearing my RoboCop hat, my RoboCop shirt, my RoboCop visor glasses. It's gonna be great, guys. It's gonna be a great movie, guys.
Question.
Yes, Dodger.
I've never seen RoboCop.
What?
Oh my god! Watch it tonight. Watch it
No. Here's my question. Here's my question. Should I wait and see the new one, and then watch the old one?
You should just not watch the new one. At all.
But I'm gonna watch it.
No, don't support shit. Stop giving money to shit.
TB, what if it's not shit?
But it
TB, that's all I do at the cinema is give my money to terrible movies.
Stop.
That's what they're for me.
RoboCop is the dungeon keeper of movies. Don't do it. It's a soulless cash-in. Don't fucking do it. Which is the perfect time to end the show. Right, so, thank you for watching the Corruptional Podcast. We'd like you to check out our channels, though. So, Mr. Nick Murphy of the Continue Show, what can we expect from your channel in the next few weeks? What's coming on?
We got a lot of good stuff. First, I meant to mention this earlier. So myself, my show the show that we do, and a bunch of other people who we're affiliated with, launched a new site, normalboots.com. You can see people like JohnTron, Peanut Butter Gamer, Pro Jared, Digino Gaming's on there. We're on there, and Oh, there's this new guy, Satchel. He's great. His stuff is very educational. He's great, man. He's my boy, dude. But yeah, check out our site. You can see all of our videos on there. It's a lot of fun. We're super excited about it. Good stuff.
Dope.
What else are you doing?
I hear there's something coming that I can't that you guys can't spoil, but it's comic booky. Sort of like something's happening. Look, Tumblr told me to bug you about something. I can't remember what it was. So I did. We're done. Let's move on.
Dude, I don't even know. You're surprising me. Now I'm gonna go ask people what this is.
You're like, hey, what's our next thing?
There's something secret coming that you guys are keeping secret from everyone. They wanted me to ask you on the show, so I did. You don't know. Shit. We're done, Tumblr.
Deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've got a couple other. We play. We have a new episode going up tomorrow on Normal Boots. It's going to be an Olympic game. On Genesis, they made this like Lilyhammer Winter Olympics game. So we play that in honor of the Olympics. It's going to be a lot of fun.
All right. Fair enough.
Appreciate it, guys.
Jesse.
I have until the 11th to finish up everything I'm doing right now. So all the Let's Play things that I'm doing are being wrapped up, and then the 11th we're just going full crazy with Final Fantasy. I'm letting you guys know. I'm so fucking excited. I cannot wait to just freak out about that game. Both good and bad, I'm sure. And then you can see the first 2 episodes of Jesse Sells Out, the show where I fully sell out every episode. And the last episode is not brought to you by Dr. Pepper. It's the drink your sister loves. And so that is you know, you guys complained. Here's your answer. Deal with it. You're still complaining, which I think is the best. I'm like, you guys are assholes. But now you have a show
with me tonight.
That's now you have a show. So deal with it. That's my sellout show. And so that's happening as well. And so I
love how it's like the fucking troll's fault that this show exists. You fucking reaped what you sowed, guys. That is your fault.
I got you this.
So fucking deal with it.
They're like, I can't believe Jesse's actually selling out. I was like, you wanted it. Enjoy. So
you want a transparency? Here you go.
Anytime someone pays me money to look at a game, I will do so. And for those of you who say like, "Oh, Jesse, you're horrible," I want to thank everyone who played Guns of Icarus Online, because they were doing it for charity, and that was awesome. Yeah. And so screw you guys who were like,
saw like a big difference too when we put out our videos. That
so how about that shit, nerds? Get out of here. So Jesse Sells Out. That's it. And then, you know, the usual is over on my channel. So go watch it.
Good shit.
The biggest complaints that I got on my Guns of Icarus video were not about it being like a paid for thing, but were that we did not play together. They were like, Jesse did this too. Why didn't you guys play? This is boring.
I think our schedules were screwy, but I will say that when the single player version of that comes out, which I think I got them to say to expect something around PAXI time, but when the single player, or not single, but like campaign version, you can make a crew of 4, and I'm like, we need our old crew back. We need to get the crew together. We need to go.
Sounds good. I'll get mine together, and we'll gun you down as usual.
You can't, because it's a single player campaign. You can only work with your crew. So
okay, I will come on the ship and sabotage it.
Get out of here.
Welcome. Well, you're welcome aboard.
Hang on a minute. That sounds like a correctional place right there. Yeah.
Does sound good. It does sound good.
Oh,
so that is fantastic.
Which will eventually happen, guys. Honest, we're not kidding. That's the thing. We were talking about it before the show. Even it's like we should probably do that. Okay,
we'll do it.
We'll do the show.
And I think it also proves. Like with the sellout show, that the things we take money for aren't like the 2 things I've done are Loadout, which is a really silly fun game, and Guns of Icarus. Like, oh, you guys got me. I've sold out my principles and my morals. You guys got me.
Sold out your principles, the games you liked in the first place. Yeah.
Yeah, you got me, guys.
Definitely. Dodger, what's coming?
Oh, that's right. We're on to me. Okay.
Yes.
So we played through all of the Hugh storyline on Always Remember Me, which means we only have 1 man left. So Hugh is going to be going up this week. And then I played more Octodad. We're going to be playing Wolf Among Us today. And that's all on Press Heart. And I have another channel called Dexterity Bonus where I vlog every day and talk to my cats. And eventually there's going to be a video going up of me trying to bathe one of them. So enjoy that. And That's my life. All of the socials are Dex Bonus, DEXBONUS. So come hang out.
Branding. Yeah.
Yes, Jesse?
Nothing. Also, at Jesse Cox. You should probably go there too. But no, I appreciate that you've fully embraced. And I give you 10 years. I give you 10 years before you end up like so many people in LA who live in a hovel with just trash and cats, and you pet them and bathe them, but you're still making videos. But your hair's white somehow, but also like scraggly white, and you still have the exact same like whatever that is, like cardigan thing, but
this one,
it's ripped because the cats keep clawing at it, and you're just like, and my babies, and you just talk to the camera.
Oh, that's so vivid. I'm terrified.
That's gonna happen in 10 years. I gotta get working.
I give you a good 10 years.
Okay, cool.
You have a good 10 years. The next 10 years is great.
10 years, yeah.
After that, you are a fucking mess. Downhill, just crash. Your skin becomes like LA tan, so you're just your leather face, and you're just like, my babies.
My babies.
That's you.
Perfect. All right.
Disturbing.
TB, what about you?
Things.
Oh.
There you go. We're done.
Yeah, so I will also be doing an Octodad video, most likely with the misses, because I think that's the only way to look at it. I was sitting down, I was like, how do I critique this? And my answer is I kind of can't, so let's just shout at each other for 20 minutes, and that will be the video. And to be fair, I did an Octodad video like a year ago, because I'm ahead of the curve as always, but if you want to check that out, you can. Aside from that, I will do the co-op with the misses. Other videos coming out this week. I just brought back a series. I brought back This Is Why We Can't Have Nice Things. I did it on Dungeon Keeper 2. You should probably watch it. I did. Aww. I did. You remember doing that show with me like 3 fucking years ago.
A long time ago, yeah.
Yeah, but it's Sacrifice. It was fucking awesome. But yeah, I brought that back. I will most likely do another one. I'm looking at Emperor Battle for Dune right now, honestly, which was a fucking amazing 3D strategy game. It was, I believe it was the last 3D RTS. It was the last RTS that was made by Westwood. Like, they made it before Earth and Beyond, and then they shut down. So it was like the last game they made. It was a fucking brilliant game. So, yeah, I'm messing around with that at the moment. So I'm thinking of doing a bit of a retrospective on that, and maybe a couple of the other Dune games in the process. WTF is, I have so many games that I could WTF is. This does not mean I will. Just want to point that out, but... Games that I am currently considering are Aqua Kitty, Milk Mine Defender, which is about undersea pirate cats that are defending the milk mines.
Speaking of cats, I keep getting tweeted about how I need to play that game.
That doesn't surprise me. Castle Miner's Ed, which I'm told is fucking terrible, so I'm really looking forward to that. Also, apparently someone made a negative review and got it taken down through copyright claims, so I'm very much looking forward to getting another 3 million views when they try and fuck with me. Try it. Just fucking try it. See what happens. Aside from that, we've got Burning Cars. I'm thinking of looking at Loadout. I did look at it in the alpha, but it's been a while, so I should have a look at that again. Saturday Morning RPG, Castle Doctrine, Our Darker Purpose. I still haven't done Broken Age, I still haven't done Strike Vector, and I still haven't done Recoil, and also Echo Prime. So I got a lot of shit on my plate, thank you very much.
Wow.
And in the meantime, I will shove in some Hearthstone videos, because I really like money. And I think that's about it. And for those who do not know, Shoutcraft Clan Wars kicks off this month. Hopefully within the next couple of weeks. I don't have a definitive date yet, I'm just waiting for all the teams to get back to me, but I've got a calendar, I've got 7 wars kind of all set up over the next sort of month or so, ready to go. I just need the teams to confirm. We're going to kick it off this month, and it's going to be fucking great. It will be on MLG TV exclusively, and I'll also be putting the VODs up on my StarCraft channel, youtube.com/TotalBiscuit. Clan Wars! Yeah. It's going to be great. There's a map with lava on it. Fucking awesome. All right, folks.
When are you going to have a boat? When are you going to get a boat with StarCraft players on it?
Boatcraft?
And then they play StarCraft on a boat with music. And then everyone goes to the boat and you have a big boat.
Well,
party.
The reason you don't do that is because StarCraft 2 requires a proper internet connection in order to work. So
StarCraft 1, old school.
Oh, Brood War? Yeah. Let's Brood War the shit up. Yeah, absolutely.
Bring it back.
Yeah. That sounds good, because Brood War actually runs on LAN, whereas StarCraft 2 does not. So you could not play StarCraft 2 in the middle of the sea, unfortunately. which is like one of the biggest things that I still complain about to this very fucking day.
I just want to play StarCraft in the middle of the sea.
Why would you let me do that? I'm pretty much done, folks, as are the rest of you by the looks of it. Please check out our channels. They are below. They've been below our faces for the last 3 hours. Please go there and watch our videos. And please, and videos. And this was the Co-optional Podcast. Thank you very much for watching. We will see you again next time, possibly next week, for more bollocks. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.